Well, everybody, welcome back to the pigsty. Welcome back tonight. Look, I've got 2 people tonight. See, I'm getting popular. Everybody wants to come on to my show. Everybody wants to be here. So yeah, I've roped Savage and roped Stephen into this tonight, and feeling a little feisty today. I don't know how everyone else's day is going, but I'm feeling a little frustrated. So fighting, you know, who's gonna come in and stuff. So yeah, we'll go straight in. Stephen, do you want to let everybody, not that they care, but would you like to let them know you're alright?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, fighting, fighting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I am Stephen Ryan. I run the YouTube channel Cider Report. MathPig is a regular there. Savage is becoming a regular there. Most people in your audience know me. It's fine. I talk about pigeons a lot. So if you want to have some engaging conversations about pigeons, come over to the channel. It's a good time. Yeah,
home and pigeon season is right now. They were collecting the pigeons home from France tonight.
Probably, yeah. It would have made good content for next stream, you know?
Yeah, but you know, they were jumping them off or picking them up even. Picking them up, yeah. Savage, do you like pigeons?
I don't really have much of an opinion. Homing pigeons? I think homing pigeons are kind of cool.
Yes, that's what they were doing, was the homing pigeons down in
the... That's pretty cool. I mean, impressive. On behalf of the pigeons, the people who are like the pigeon trainers, I'm like, are you really like training the pigeon? I don't know how much work it is, but I feel like it is mostly the work of the pigeon and not.
Well, you have to show the pigeon some love or it's not going to come back.
Okay.
But I will agree with you. The guy that I bought this house off, was an old man that was into the pigeons and had 2 pigeon sheds in the backyard. And he sold his pigeons to, obviously, another pigeon trainer. And they kept coming back here and slipping in, even though I'd closed all the windows or whatever. They got in through a hole in the roof or whatever. And they kept coming back here to the point they died. The man arrived here 3-4 times to try and take them away. And he was like, if they come back again, I'm just ignoring them and giving up. And yeah, they died. I went up one day and there was 2 of them. Came back here and starved to death. So yeah, I would agree with you that it's mostly the pigeons' work.
I mean, I feel bad for the pigeons. I in some ways it's like I'm glad that like he treated the pigeons well, so that they were like, oh yeah, I know that place. That's where I was treated well. But like,
yeah, so we go back here and you get starved to death.
Yeah. I did find a dog in the middle of the highway the other day, and I found his home, but I was worried for a while that he was going to be a little orphan. But I just like heard honking in the road, and I looked out the window and there was like a dog. I live on like a pretty busy highway, and
this is a question. I don't know. Seeing as we have a pigeon/bird expert on stream tonight, here's a question. Stephen, right? Birds and pigeons, right? I read a study a wee while ago, okay? Yeah. That birds can estimate the speed of a car. You know, they know when to jump in the air because if they're used to eating food off the motorway, they have learned to time it. You know, I need to move now because that car is usually... They fly off plenty of time. There's a particular road where I think the birds in that area have maybe... someone's done something or... Them fuckers. I hit 2 in this last 3 months with the front of my car, and there was a boy I seen the other day hit 1, and they're in the same fucking road at the same time in the morning. It's like this particular road, the birds have just suddenly got really stupid and like hang around and just sit there and go, come on, I fucking dare you.
In that one area on that
just
one
that
road.
One area, yeah, just that. It's literally the one road.
Is there like some type of like power lines overhead, or I'm trying to think if there's
there
like
is
something...
the Tito fucking crisp factory, and it's been there for 100 years, and there's nothing else out there. It's in the middle of nowhere, like it's a country road. The Tito factory poker.
I didn't know that
Northern
that
Irish
that
Tato.
just
Just to clarify, Northern Irish Tato, not this fucking southern shit Tato.
Not the actual Tato, like.
Not the southern shit Tato.
Didn't they like survive like an entire like famine on that potato or
That was the
like,
Irish. That's not pigeons.
I said that the potato.
Yeah, there was the potato famine. It was a thing.
But which potatoes was it that the famine was survived on? Was it the northern potato or the southern potato? I don't know my Irish history.
I'm looking at the chat, and we're gonna have to start saying a load of people in the chat, right? Because we're talking about spuds and pigeons. Come on, the fuck. Where's the rouse? Where's the people? Brojo, you're here. Get your ass in here so we can argue with you.
I have an extreme
Wait, is
opinion
that
on
Brojo?
something.
Brojo 420 Cafe.
That's maybe not like a
Is that a
popular
different?
opinion.
Is that a different Brojo than I'm thinking of?
Well, I don't know. I only know
Brojo
one.
that's like asshole 104 minion.
Oh no, that's not asshole 104
Okay.
million.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Brojo's cool. Dublin Queen says Rab. Rab's also from Ireland. Rab lives up the road from me, ma.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just that like Brojo is a fairly kind of unusual moniker to go by. So I was just thinking like, what's the fucking chances that there's two of them? You know?
Turns out quite high.
I mean, apparently, but I just didn't. I just
Well,
wasn't
yeah.
expecting it. That's all.
No,
I think probably if your name is Joe or Joseph, it's like maybe more popular.
according to Spooky, there is two Brojos.
Well,
This is
all right. Yeah.
This is the best we've got tonight. Like, come on, fight with me. I'm really in the mood for a fucking row tonight. Come and disagree with me.
Well, I mean, like, what do you want to have an
I
argument
told you
about, or
I
is
had
it
just-
just any?
I
something,
need
but
to-
you were like, whatever, I don't go.
I need to get the frustration out because everybody I've been talking to today has took my time, has been nice people, and I can't scream at them. So I need to scream.
You want to
at
know
someone.
something that I'm like frustrated about lately?
Go.
That it's,
Can we argue about it?
yeah, we can. I mean, if
You're wrong.
If you disagree with me, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
But I keep seeing, for some reason, I like got put on an algorithm of like where people will post videos of their like very young children getting cochlear implants, which like I'm okay with if like there's like a 1 ear hearing impairment, or if like there's like some reason that they're like improving their hearing. But if you're like taking a completely deaf child and like giving them cochlear implants before they're like even able to like develop any sense of language and like ASL, like, or sign language, whatever their culture, like you're removing them from their deaf culture, and I feel like it's abusive.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna go close this door before. What? What? What?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit abusive.
Hold on. All right, I'm gonna say it back.
You don't know whether that kid wants to be a hearing kid or wants to be a deaf kid.
Okay, there has to be right.
See,
Well,
this
okay,
is the thing
okay,
that like
no,
a lot of like
right,
hearing people don't even freaking get it. But like, yeah, like
I'm not saying. Stephen's making a face. I think he's the same. Like,
Yeah. I feel like we're going to be in agreement on this one.
me and you, or you and her.
Yeah, me and you.
Oh.
Because
Rage, you can come in and I'll fucking fight with Rage, because Rage set a stream to go when mine will still be going. So Rage, you can come in so I can fight with you. Here, there's the link. That's a fair point. The link has not been posted. There. Yeah, I would disagree with you in that, because, you know,
yes,
you're going to define people and say that there's the basic senses that a human has, you know, and taking away their culture from, you can still teach them sign language, you know. You could still bring them to... No, you could still teach... Let me finish. Still teach them sign language and all that shit and all the rest of it. But you are also giving them the ability to hear the birds in the morning. You are also giving them the ability to hear their child scream and cry in the next room if they decide and meet someone and fall in love. You know...
They can decide that later on, though.
Yes, but, you know, I'm saying that these things are... Our body...
You're not depriving them of that.
You're depriving them of hearing.
No.
You're
If they
literally
decide
depriving
later
them of
on
hearing.
that they want to get a cochlear implant, then they can. There's not like, it's not like there's like a window where like, oh, after you age out of this window, you can't get a cochlear implant. You can get it as an adult. There's even a lot of doctors that like will not perform the surgery on like if they're younger than like puberty age, because
Right.
they're like, no, that kid's not old enough to decide for themselves whether they want to be deaf or hearing.
Okay, so there is doctors that say yes and there's doctors that say no. So we could do both, but we're talking here in our opinions right now. And in my opinion, and I think Stephen's opinion as well, every child should be given the best start that they have. Being able to hear,
Absolutely.
being able to hear is part of
What?
the best start.
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, if
So
if you're
kids,
defining the best start as someone who is like who has access to all of the 5 primary senses,
I'm loving the
Right.
if that's what you're
back.
defining as the best start,
Sure.
well, then yeah, I
But if
kinda,
we're defining
you
like
have to agree.
success as like somebody who's going to be like not dealing with mental illness, not dealing with feeling isolated and like having a poor job retention in the future and being like social outcasts and stuff. If we're using that as the judge, then like it's better to leave your kid without.
You literally wouldn't get a job. You would not get a job in my place if you were deaf. Impossible. And that's nothing to do with anything to do with training or anything like that. There's literally forklifts flying about all the fucking time. And if you don't hear that horn when you're going around a corner or you don't hear that beep, you're going to be wiped out. We got an electric one at work and I come around the corner the other day and I dooted the horn and the boy didn't hear the fucking horn, didn't recognize it and jumped. He was like, that fucking thing is too quiet, too quiet. If you're deaf, you're going to get run over by a forklift. You know.
So like there are
Not
like
ideal,
mirrors that people put up to like accommodate and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying is if we're looking at what's going to get like the kid like the best setup in life, if we're looking at like lower depression rates, higher job retention rates, higher like marriage satisfaction rates and stuff like that, those things are all higher in the groups that either didn't get a CI at all or got it later in life, as opposed to people who got it very young before they were able to develop any sense of language.
As Spooky says, sure, why not just deliberately deafen children who can't hear while they're at it?
Well, I mean, I think that's that's silly, but like, again, that still then removes like kids from like their culture, like.
Oh, there's a good thing from
culture.
Mr. Willis. Right. How long have you wore glasses?
Since I was like 14.
14. And if you were going to school and every morning your parents took your glasses off you and sent you to school with no glasses, how would you feel?
Well, if I went to a blind school, I probably wouldn't care.
You have the ability to go to a fully fledged this, that, and the other, and the rest of it. Thank you, Dog, for sending £10.
What's wrong with a deaf school? Deaf schools are fully fledged. Like there are people who like go to deaf schools because they're highly accredited schools, and they want to like learn ASL and like they like do immersion courses. Hearing people.
I'm not saying that there is anything wrong and they will hit their targets and this, that, and the other, but I am saying that there is more than likely, if I look at the statistics, better teachers in the mainstream schools.
No, actually, that's not the case. In fact, it's quite the opposite.
Oh, it's quite the opposite.
Usually, better dedicated teachers
there's a physics,
and more qualified teachers.
Dedicated to ASL and dedicated to deaf-orientated topics. All right,
No,
you're not going to tell me that the best physics professor
dedicated to teaching.
Yes, but I'm going to say to you, right? If no, hold on.
They have
If
higher
you
rates
have
usually of like counseling and stuff like that. Usually they'll have more one-on-one time with their teachers. Usually they have more contact with parents, more back and forth contact with parents.
Okay, I want to get into physics and not ASL. Is the best physics professor in the country working in the deaf school?
One of them.
One of them.
Go look at Gallaudet and the teachers at Gallaudet. They're some of the best university professors in the country.
I think we're going to agree to disagree, but I will definitely disagree with the point that giving a child before they hit puberty a cochlear implant, allowing them to hear, is not abuse. Hi Rage, and if I can just shout out the super chat, any animal can be taught a new way.
I disagree.
Shut up! Any animal can be taught a new way to communicate regardless of the species. My nan taught her budgie to call everyone a cunt. Poor budgie's dead now. Thank you for that super chat, Doug. Hi, Rich.
What kind of budgie?
Yeah, I wish
we
had some like hearing impaired or people with like deaf family members in the chat who could weigh in on it. Because I think it is one of those things that, like, if you have like spent your entire life around hearing people, like it seems a little bit weird. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, when hearing parents have a deaf child, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna like fix my kid, and it's like, but it's not actually fixing them.
Well, no,
like,
you see, that's the
not,
thing. No, there's no, it is. No.
Because what you're saying is that, oh, they're not going to be able to experience a bird song in the morning in their childhood. They're never going to be able to
You are
experience that the same
right?
way that
Just
you are.
I'm gonna
They're going to be able to experience a digital simulation.
I can just do that, right? Let me finish, okay? No ranting is one of the rules, all right? You've been ranting for ages. Rage didn't even get to finish his fucking hello, all right? So, I'm just...
He came in mid-argument. He knew what he was coming into.
Yeah, fucking mute you again, you bitch, right? I'm quicker on the button, right?
If you won't call me names, I'll leave.
Right. Okay, I won't. I'm only winding you up, all right? You know I love the bones here.
Okay.
Right. What I'm saying is, when you said I'm going to fix my children from the parents' point of view, that is aiming to the audience and saying, and that's what happens whenever people say about LGBTQ members and trans children, we need to fix them. There's nothing wrong with them then. When you say that the child was born deaf, I can say that the child's basic senses, or one of them, is broken. I can say that needs to be fixed.
No, it's not broken. It's just not there. Like, it's not, like, broken. Are you saying somebody who's born without a right arm is a broken person because they're
oh my goodness.
They're just like have a limb difference?
Oh, you're taking it to extremes now. Like, you're taking it to extremes, right? Rage, finish your hello, by the way. Nice to see the old setup back again.
Oh yeah. How y'all doing? I'm not sure where I've fallen on this argument. Probably a little bit of both.
Don't do that. Pick a side.
People are happy being deaf and would prefer to be deaf and have no interest in having a
that's
cochlear
all
implant.
they've experienced. That's why.
No, because they don't want it.
But you see, for me, I just don't know why you would ever choose to stay deaf. It's like, I don't know. It's
exactly. You don't
it's
get
like
it.
having, okay, right? No. Listen to me, right?
You're not deaf.
If you have the choice, right, of either being deaf or being able to hear, right, and choosing to stay deaf, that to me is like been given the option of being in a fight with one hand tied behind your back and then having the option to use both of your hands. You choosing to have the one. It's like,
right, and I think
it's clearly the worst option.
The point
like,
itself
is there's nothing wrong with being deaf. There's nothing wrong with deaf people
every year. There are literally thousands of people every year who get told, "Hey, you're a candidate for a cochlear implant. Do you want one?" Who say, "Fuck no."
Yes, because they've grew up.
I had an aunt that chose not to get the surgery, but back then the surgery was, it wasn't like a guaranteed thing to work, at least not for her.
Yeah.
So she decided not to go with it, but I to Minnow's point, I think she enjoyed her life. She had become accustomed. That was her life. That was her normal. To think, she didn't want to get out of her normal.
That's literally what I'm.
And deaf people have like weird superpowers about shit. Like when I like come in the front door, my old deaf roommate, it did not matter where he was in the house, he like felt the vibration of the fucking front door like opening and closing, and he was like, oh, Minnow's here. Like he just fucking knew. When we were in a car, he was always the first person to like see the lights flashing, or he didn't hear the siren ever, but like those of us who were like hearing the siren would hear it after he was like, oh, cops. Like it's just different. It's not like, would you say that like
not just different? No, it's not just
it's
different.
A disadvantage.
All right,
it's not a disadvantage. That's the
no,
thing.
I wouldn't. I never said
looking at it as a disability, and most of the deaf community does not look at their deafness as a disability.
I am not stating it's a disadvantage. Even
it's not a disadvantage, and it's not a disability.
Your other senses are automatically enhanced anyway. We know this, but yeah, why would you want to live without a sense?
And if I can make an extreme analogy, right? If
I don't need to say why. It's not my choice to say why.
If I can make an extreme analogy, okay? If you had a bat that could communicate and you said to the bat, we're going to give you normal human hearing, The bat would say to you, go fuck yourself. I've grew up with sonar. That's what I'm used to. I think it's fantastic. All my other senses are wonderful. They're amazing. I don't need that, right? Or if you took a bat, if you took a
like
bat,
bats don't actually have like better hearing than us, so they just have better hearing in
That
some
also
ways.
growed up with speaking English.
yeah, good bat. The point is, you want to stay with your normal, as what Knox said. You want to stick with what you're used to. So yes, I would guarantee if you ask most people who are still deaf and offered the cochlear implant after they're of the age of puberty, right? Number one, they're now a little bit more mature so they can think about it, and they've spent most of their life as they are. And everybody wants to, right?
But somebody who got a CI as a kid grows up not ever being fully in part of the hearing community.
Why?
And not ever being fully part of the deaf community, because it doesn't just like turn on your hearing. It is a digital simulation that is similar to what hearing people hear. But it is not like, it's not like somebody gets a CI and then like all of a sudden they can hear exactly the same as a hearing person.
Right, well, you
It's
didn't say that at the
absolutely
start,
not
and I don't
Most
know.
of them still have to end up relying on like subtitles and closed captioning. Most of them still have to like do primarily lip reading as like their primary. But then all of a sudden, if particularly if they haven't developed language yet, they'll be told their parents will be told don't sign with them, because then they will rely on sign and they won't learn English.
If I can
so
just
then they're not allowed to communicate
hold
as part of the deaf community. So they're never fully part of either community.
Okay, that wasn't
Hello?
communicated at the start. And by the way, Ontangelo jumped in and the computer decided not to add him. And 30 seconds later, Midnight jumped in and I have auto add on. So the computer lets these people in. And the computer let Midnight in and didn't let Ontangelo in. Now that Ontangelo was not me. Honest to fuck, not me. That was the computer. And I went to check my settings to see if the auto ad was still on. And Midnight came in and joined. So my computer dislikes you.
I guess the
fair,
auto
what?
likes me. Yay.
Right, you didn't explain the cochlear implant at the start, okay? I was under the assumption that they were going to get at least above 70 to 80% of normal hearing, right?
No,
Well,
oftentimes it's 25
this
to
was
30%.
a story on
It's
Scrubs
about the normal.
about when was that show, American show, the comedy show Scrubs about?
Rob was a while ago, but yeah.
There was an episode on there, I seem to recall, where the father was genetically deaf and he had a son. He was estranged from his wife, and it was his turn with him. The son got ill, and a cochlear implant could have cured his deafness. And his father didn't want that, because that was obviously his relationship with his son was the unique bit of deafness they had between themselves. You know, the sign language and that. And I can understand that.
100%.
Obviously, you know, I think I can't remember what was the big doctor's name, the one who always mouthed off. What was his name with curly hair?
I have to say though, like,
And to be clear, I have nothing against like kids, teenagers deciding to get a CI like before they turn 18. If that kid is old enough to say, "Hey, I want to hear," absolutely, then it's time to start looking into it. But
who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
I
I mean, I think
music
the
is
worst
so
affliction
important.
in the world is losing your eyesight. I think losing your
actually,
eyesight.
if we look
is
at
probably-
so rates of like
I'm visually
unemployment,
blind.
poverty, suicide, this is the weirdest one, is that like if you lose your sense of smell and taste, you are more likely to like end up impoverished and killing yourself than if you lose your sight or your hearing.
Right, well, Ox is making a statement in the chat, right? Ox is saying if he was deaf and he grew up without hearing and found out his parents didn't give it to him, then he wouldn't have any parents, right? But I would agree with that if you got 100% of your hearing back. But as Savage is now in this last few minutes has pointed out, I would need to go and look at the success rate of these implants. If you're only going to get 20 to 15% of your hearing back, then that to me would be detrimental.
Like 30 sometimes. Yeah.
I would consider that to be detrimental, because you are being given bad hearing. You're not being given hearing, you're being given bad hearing. And that would be very difficult, because you know it's just outside of your reach. That to me would be torture. Where if you are completely deaf, your other senses will pick up, and there's things, and we've seen this stuff. But then, and then you've
And also, if you like had a baby that was like born hearing and like got meningitis at 2 and lost their hearing at 2, like I obviously at that point am like not against that baby getting a CI to like restore the hearing that he was born with. Like that's not some of the hearing that he was born with, so that he could, also like. There was somebody who was like, hey, there's somebody in my family who like wants to be able to hear. I absolutely am not against people who want to get a cochlear implant, getting a cochlear implant. I am against literal infants getting cochlear implants, and like pretty much like up into toddlers until they're like able to like communicate in approximations to sentences.
Yeah, but how does it? Well, this is it. I agree, because how does an infant? Because I was born very deaf. That's why I talk. I'm very nasally. If anyone can hear that through my microphone.
I just thought you were English.
Well, fair enough.
Wow.
But I talk nasally like a deaf person would. But all it took were very narrow ear passages, whatever they call them.
Mouths.
They call them the grommets. Grommets put in there, and I went through a few years of that and many ear infections when I was a child. But then suddenly I can hear.
yeah, sorry, I'm just looking.
I mean, it was good. I grew up an Orthodox Catholic, so thankfully I missed a lot of the bollocks that went on when I was dragged.
There's just
to
some
church.
things I just feel like there's some
child.
things you would be lacking. Ian is being mentioned, hearing a truck coming up. Safety aspects. So our bodies have evolved.
Absolutely.
Our bodies have evolved to have hearing. So I will stick with the thing. I'm happy to say the statement. Child is born without hearing. I would like to fix their hearing, but if a cochlear implant does not restore anything more, than a decent amount of hearing, then I can see where Savage is coming from, that you're stuck in the middle. Part of that, you are part of that. Like, I think having...
You grow up being alienated. Like, you grow up being...
I have
not...
seen similar videos to what Ox has seen. And there was a man, I think, in his 30s or 40s where they created like a radar type of device where it bounced things back and forth. It was a sound thing. And they had him driving up round London in a taxi with this speaker up against the window or whatever it was up against the window, and he's in the back seat and he could tell what they were driving past from like what it was going, and his life, was amazing and all the rest of it, not there and the other not, but he's still limited to a certain point. I wouldn't want anyone to lean on that technology and then lose the abilities that they do gain as an extra when they're deaf. So it's
Also, I want to point out, when I worked at UPS, they had these things on all of the corners that were for deaf employees that were like these little mirror, like convex mirror things. And even as a hearing person, just because it's like freaking loud in that place sometimes, it was just nice to like be able to like have that visual confirmation that there wasn't like...
Still would not help in our place of work at all. Some of them fucking forklifts are half the size of a house and they're carrying pieces of steel 60 foot long and like this. That mirror may see the forklift coming and you're like, oh grand, that's fine, I just need to wait. The forklift's miles away and then he turns early and there's a 60-foot piece of steel appears around the corner. A mirror just catches. You need the horn, you need to be paying attention.
I agree. There is situations where hearing is necessary. I understand that that in the workplace these days there's no discrimination whatsoever, but where there are situations where hearing is beneficial. I mean, but then again, Robbie was talking about sonar. I remember swimming with dolphins many years ago on the Florida Keys. It was sort of like a park. I can't remember. I think it was Esmeralda or one of them key islands. We were on there and we're swimming with dolphins, and we were underwater with our snorkels, and these just sounds were just vibrating in your head, which apparently, if you were stone deaf, if you you could hear them as well. That sonar, it's like a resonating thing in your mind. So I don't know, it's a weird sort of thing of how dolphins. Well, we have to get out of the water because they picked on this one poor girl, and they picked on this one poor girl because when they got out of the water, they said to her, "Are you pregnant at all?" She went, "I don't think so, no." And she was pregnant. These dolphins picked up on this fetus, this heartbeat
Oh, wow.
inside their body. That was an incredible thing, I thought, and yeah. But that bitch ruined my swim with the dolphins. Because we had to get out of the water because their dolphins just kept picking on this girl and kept bumping into her, and they were so interested. It didn't hurt her, they were just interested in her. But well, the point is, you know, deaf or not, you know, that sort of that sonar sort of thing you can hear anyway, whether even if you were stone deaf, you could hear that. It's like a resonation, apparently. That it's a vibration that goes on in you. Like, I don't know. It's like it's hard to explain. Unless you swam with dolphins, you wouldn't know. Does anyone here swam with dolphins?
No. Although Stephen would probably have the ability. There's fishermen I think off the southern coast of Ireland that have dolphins that follow them out when they go fishing and stuff like that there.
Yeah.
And they help them. They've learned to help them actually school or get the schools in and stuff. Right, if I can just scream and shout to everyone on the panel, I'm a dick. I keep forgetting. I've been given access to a 10-person account and I keep using my own, which is only 6. So if everybody would be able to jump to that one.
I mean, if there's somebody backstage, I could leave.
No, well, they're popping in and out and they can't get in, you know? So nobody at the minute. But if we could jump there, it gives us the access. It's no difference to the audience. The audience not know, except the fact that I've mentioned it.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah, just click the link, Midnight.
just click the fucking link. Yeah, everybody just click that fucking
Okay,
link.
hold on. This link? Okay.
Wait, I'm confused. Why did Rage say click the link midnight and then leave?
Because
Then-
he clicked
then
the
left.
link. Because he clicked the link.
Yeah, he's in the other
Okay.
room.
Oh, I did. Sorry, I
I
didn't.
clicked the link.
And now we have this. See? No, there we go. And F11. So we're just waiting on Midnight if he comes across. And yeah, now we can hold 10. So if anyone else wants to come in, we've got loads of room. If more people want to come in, and we can start the fight and see if you disagree. Fabio, I think
Complicated directions and Midnight don't go hand in hand.
There you go.
There you are.
Yeah, my bad.
I was reading somewhere. I'm not sure how true this is, but I'm assuming it's true. I can't remember where I read it, but I was reading about Beethoven, and after Beethoven lost his hearing, he made this device that it like literally hooked a piece of metal to the piano, and he figured out that he could feel the notes, and he was able to go on and make some really, really beautiful orchestras.
there's an actual.
My understanding was the first thing that he did, and maybe he rigged the thing up later after that, but he cut the legs off of his piano so that
Yeah, I read about that too. Yeah.
box of the piano was sitting like directly on, and he lived in an upstairs apartment, so it was like it would basically run the vibrations from floorboards.
Even in modern music, I am nearly sure there is a woman out there at the minute who is deaf, who plays by putting the bass speakers on the floor, and she is one of the really good. She's a very good.
There are a couple of
musician.
bassists who are deaf, yeah.
And she plays by the feeling of music.
There's one singer that I'm aware of, and I'm sure that there's more, but she is deaf, had some hearing restored with a CI, mostly muscle memory, is able to like remember, and when she practices, she uses like a tuner, basically an electric tuner with her voice to make sure that she's hitting the pitches right, and then with muscle memory performs, she can't hear her own voice anymore.
The link was in the private chat, Doug.
I clicked on it and I ended up in normal chat. What's going on there?
I have no idea. Everybody else got here, even Midnight.
Technology.
Ah,
My
right.
game dad's
Yeah,
here.
well, I didn't really see the link because I have a magnifying glass that, yeah, it's annoying. I have to use a magnifying glass on the PC because I'm legally blind. really hard.
Oh, you're good, you're
Well,
you're good. I was only making a
Right.
joke. I wasn't being rude or anything.
That's fun. Yeah,
We
'cause-
were talking about deaf musicians,
1, 2, 3.
but you
4,
probably
5,
saw
6,
that
7, 8.
because you were in the.
So Fabio has some questions I think he would like me to clarify upon.
I can see you moving your mouth, but I can't hear you. So you'll have to resort to text because I can't hear you, and I'm living really fine. I had the chance to hear 25%, but I thought it was better. 0 was better, so I can't really understand what you're saying. So you'll have to text.
You see, that's
feel
your
like
problem
he's
because you're
trolling.
limited. At the end of the day, man, the texting, me and text literally don't work. have that
I
issue.
can't hear you. I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, you see, that's the problem.
0% is better than 25%.
Well, you see, if I knew that you were 100% deaf, then I would make the effort to put up subtitles so that you could read it. The fact that I am under the awareness that you've got an implant, I'm going to talk normally and treat
Are we
you
using
normally.
captions?
No, we're
I
not,
still have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Ciao, mio compagno tifosi.
right?
Okay, yeah, I can hear that.
You see, but if you right, what I'm motherfucker, right? I know you can't. I know you can hear me. The point I'm making is everybody around you expects that you can hear, so they treat you like a hearing person. But you can't hear 100%. You can hear 25%. Where if the person come up to you and says, "I am 100% deaf and can hear nothing," you are now aware of it, so you treat them a different way. You will make the effort to use sign language. That's the point I was making. Being 25% deaf when everybody expects you to hear normally, yes, that's worse than being 100% deaf when people know if you're 100% deaf, they will use
No,
sign
listen,
language.
you just tell the person that you only hear 25%, you can't hear very well, and that's it. I mean, it's bonkers. I mean, saying that
Soldier
being
of something's back.
deaf is better than hearing only a little bit. It's
I
crazy.
didn't say it's
Well,
better. I
First
didn't
of all,
say it's better.
you would have problem talking, because if you can't hear a little bit, you would also have problem talking. So that's one thing, which goes with being deaf or being slightly deaf.
Well, I said that.
If you're raised
I
in a
put
deaf
through my
community,
nose a lot
though,
because
like
of-
you're gonna be.
I'm going to put Fabio, right, the floor is between
can
Fabio and Savage, right? Because Savage is saying no cochlear implant regardless, and Fabio is fighting for 25% is better than nothing, right? Go.
I was very clear that I did not say no cochlear implant, no matter what.
Okay. See, so I win. There you go. Next.
Yeah, but Savage, it is not. It is not deafness a disability.
No.
I disagree
Why?
with that.
Well, the deaf community would say that it's not a disability.
Well, no, yeah, that adversity would say no, it's not a disability. But if you lost a sense, a basic human sense that 99.9% of people are born with. their
And
five
also-
senses,
Yeah.
Again,
I'm
I feel
also
like
curious.
it's not my place to say whether or not that's a disability. It's like people who like are deaf,
Yeah,
and
but
that
it's not-
people who in
you
my
have
life are
admitted-
deaf have
You've
told me
admitted
that
it's a
not
disability.
disability.
You've admitted it's a disability where hearing is important in certain
Yeah.
environments and in certain
And-
situations. Hearing is important. You've admitted
And
that.
It can be, yeah.
And Savage,
so
sorry. I
without
mean,
it,
I'm
it's a
curious.
disability.
Hold on. I did say we're going to give it Fabio and Savage for a while, dog. So Fabio and
No,
Savage.
Yep. Go on, Fabio. I'm going to mute anyway.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No worries. I mean, I'm also curious to understand. So, I mean, does it apply only to being deaf, or I mean, sight, for example? Is being blind better than only seeing a little bit? Or okay, no, I got a better one. I know a
love Fabio.
guy which is totally paralyzed. He can't move. That's better than having limited mobility, right? I mean, it's crazy. I don't know.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
say that guy.
What?
Like, I would say if like a guy who's in that situation, like ask
Mhm.
him. It's probably like probably very personal, case to case.
I can fucking guarantee you that 100% of people which is paralyzed would rather have limited mobility rather than being paralyzed. That
Yeah.
is a fact. Unless
I
they're
Yeah.
dead,
mean,
though.
I mean,
Well,
I have a
unless-
friend who has limited mobility who was born like kind of with cerebral palsy. He's been confined to a wheelchair his entire life. And
Right.
there have been times where, in frustration, he has said to me, I really wish that I had no mobility. I wish I couldn't move my limbs at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
fucking.
I'm going to
That's
call bullshit on that.
I mean, that's just a weak. That's just a weak argument. Obviously, evolution is giving you all of your senses for a reason, and I
I mean,
will.
it's different to give it to like people who are deaf.
I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say. I'll tell you right now. My little sister, my youngest sister, Heather, when her mom was pregnant, got very sick, had to get antibiotics. It caused like 98% of hearing loss for my sister Heather. And right before I actually logged in right now, I just texted her because I never asked her this question. I was like, how come you've never gotten a cochlear implant? And she said she actually did in 2013, but she does not use it. So this is to confirm with Minnow. She doesn't use it because she says first it gives her headaches. And it's like annoying. It gives her headaches. She says it also prevents her from swimming, for example, or other things like you can't get an MRI there. I mean, she kind of rattled off a list of things.
I know there used to be a thing with airplanes, but they might have fixed that on newer models.
Yeah. So she rattled off a list, which is an honest thing to say why she doesn't particularly have one. And 2013, she was already well past puberty. She learned sign language and lip reading, and she's now married and has 3 kids, and of course all her kids are hearing kids. So for her to not want to hear her kids' voices is kind of bullshit to say that there's advantages to not hearing. And so I'm just saying that evolution creates a sense for you for a reason, and there is complete disadvantages to not hearing. Whether me knowing her personally, she's a lot more immature. She doesn't know how to read people, for example. She can read body language, but she cannot hear tone of voice and inflection and be able to read people's actual intentions because she doesn't hear. So there's huge disadvantages to not hearing. That's all
I would fucking get in here. It's like I would rather be visually impaired than blind, completely blind.
Can I just say thank you for asking your sister about that? And
yeah, no, I did.
On my behalf.
I totally did. I totally did because I thought that she just never wanted to get one. And so today was the first day that she even told me that she did get one in 2013. And I was like, well, can you turn it off? And she's like, yeah, I turned it off. And so that was surprising information to me. And me being the bad brother I am, I don't know how to sign language. All her other brothers and sisters do, but we didn't grow up together. I'm like 20 years older than her. So, that's kind of my excuse as to why I don't sign language, but she has 2 other sisters and a brother that are hearing, and they do communicate through sign language with her. She's really good at lip reading, and she just had a brand new, beautiful baby boy about a month ago. So, I mean, I love my sister to death. But I don't know a lot about her, that's for sure.
See, from Soldier...
Can you just say, sorry, is Bob your name? I can't see because it's really little on my screen.
SOS, Soldier.
It's SOS. Yeah, Soldier of
Okay,
Science.
SOS. Sorry,
Oh, I thought you were
sorry.
making fun of me.
So
Sorry.
can you just say one thing? I think that your sister actually has a superpower. She's
Which-
way better than me, which I can hear, because she can hear if she wants because she has a cochlear implant. But she can also completely shut it off, so she can't hear all the bunch of idiots which usually surround you. So I would say,
maybe so.
it's an advantage,
Maybe so.
Right. If I can say, if I was going to say there before Fabio jumped in, I wanted to finish his point. To Soldier of Science's point with his sister, right? The fact that she grew up completely deaf around people in her family, right? This is the point I was making to Fabio before he was a dick to me, right? With the 25% thing. If I grew up with a sister that could partially hear me, right, I would make the effort to talk clearly so that she could maybe lip read. I would do that or whatever, you know, but I wouldn't make the effort probably to go full blown and spend all that time learning sign language, because I don't need to. It's just a wee bit harder for her. It puts all the effort on her. She has to do the work. She has to do that. But it puts all the effort on that person. Where if you are completely deaf, the people around you are like, I want to talk to this person, so I'm going to put the effort in. So that's the point I was making, Fabio, with being 25%. It's sort of, I don't want to say lets people off. It's a bad phrase, but people are assholes and they won't make the effort.
I'm sorry, MathPig. You know, let's just pretend for a second that my leg doesn't work. Okay, one of my legs doesn't work, and we go out for a walk. Okay, I can walk really slowly, right? You will slow the pace, but I'd rather be walking with one leg rather than not be able to walk at all. So the same thing applies.
No,
if I'm not able to walk,
the same thing.
The
same thing does not apply.
No. Listen.
You're making a bad analogy.
We're not rather in your deep down self, because everyone I've dealt with who's had disabilities.
That's a no. If I can just make, make an analogy,
I mean,
I'm gonna
like
mute you.
Jewell
Get the
had,
fuck. I'm gonna wake my daughter. Right? I swear to God. I'm
Can I
shouting that
finish?
loud. I'm gonna
in
wake
her
her.
foot and she chopped
mute
it off.
everybody. Mute everybody.
Can I-
Shush. Let Fabio finish his damn small tiny sentence, because I have a point to fucking make.
What I'm saying is that you say that if a person is deaf, you adapt to her condition and you try to make an effort. What I'm saying is that if any person has any kind of disability, which doesn't have to be 100% disabled in one sense, you will adapt to that disability. So if I'm not able to run, you wouldn't ask me to go for a run. We would just go for a walk. So it's the same thing.
The point.
But me personally, I'd rather walk a little than not walk at all.
Right. Well, this is Fabio's point, right? Fabio was saying if his leg doesn't work and he can walk slowly, right? And I'm saying 25% is worse than none, right? The point is, if you had no legs, I wouldn't ask you to walk. I'd give you a fucking Jeep. Okay? So instead of... No. So the analogy that you're making between walking with a limp and walking slowly and being able to walk completely, what I'm saying is if you can't walk, I'm getting you a Jeep. You get the superpower. You get the heightened sense. You get all that. That's the analogy I'm making. Welcome, our great... Shush, you can't speak. Our great leader has arrived. Hello, Marty.
Now you're turning the conversation. The conversation is not if I want to walk or you give me a Jeep.
You changed the conversation.
No. The conversation was if I'm completely deaf, you will make an effort because of my disability. And I'm saying that you will make the same effort if I was slightly less than 100% disabled on that
and
sense.
You brought it up because I made the point.
You
brought it up because I made the point of 25% being worse than having nothing.
Right.
And
Hey,
yes,
real quick, MathPig, I gotta go. I got to stream here just a little bit. And
my numbers drop because you fucking. If my numbers drop because you did this, I'm gonna slap you. Right? Go fucking.
Well, I knew there was a good reason to start at 8, and I couldn't think of it. And then you started streaming. I'm like, oh, that was my reason. But my main adversary is over in Gur's stream, so I gotta go steal him. So y'all have a good night. I'll see you guys later.
Cunt, right?
I didn't
Cunt, you fucking cunt!
I forgot. Last time I did this, it was on a Friday, man.
Right. See you later.
All right. See y'all later.
I'm not changing the conversation. I'm just saying the reason you brought up that particular analogy was because of the reference point I made between someone having 25% and 0. We would treat them better with their condition if they had 0, as in we would just give them a Jeep because we want them to be there, but we realize that they are completely legless, so they get a Jeep.
No. What I'm saying is that you will make an effort depending on the degree of disability that I have. So if I can't walk, you give me a Jeep. If I can walk a little and I tell you, let's go for a walk, you will just walk slow with me and that's it. But you will make an effort anyway, because unless you're telling me that you will only make the effort if I'm completely deaf or completely not walking, that makes you a dick.
I am a dick.
Right? Because you will always only make the effort if I can't walk or I can't hear. But if I can hear a little bit, you would just not make the effort. You make the
Well, I
effort
think
anyway.
they're
I
Yes.
would disagree. I would
and my quality of
Right,
life,
well, okay,
and my
well,
quality
you were
of life
basing-
would be better.
You were basing all
That's
of
it.
this you were basing all of this on the comparison that not being able to walk is the exact same as not being able to hear. And I would disagree with that. All right? I would say that not being able to walk is more detrimental than not being able to hear. But that's my opinion. We lost Soldier of Science. Sorry. I don't know what happened. I can't see the private
Robbie,
chat.
He said he was going to be right back.
Can I chime in here? I'm going to say that whether you can't walk or you're deaf or you're blind or you're
Someone's got a
born
stream
no
in the
arms,
background, Laura, maybe.
It doesn't matter.
Hello, Laura. Hello, Minnow.
Fabio
Good to see you
has
both.
proven the point. Fabio has proven the point that disabled people, they laugh in the face of adversity for a reason, because they're born with it. It's their life. They have to get on with it. I'm just going to say they are normal people. But for
Three of
people
us
with
back.
have all their functional limbs and eyes and senses, we'll accept that and we'll get on with it. But you cannot tell me that not any of them disabled people wish they were born with all their functioning parts and senses.
Savage will disagree with you because she's talked to people
At
who
some
have.
point, they have thought of that and wished it.
Okay, right. Simos
Maybe
was in, hold
I
on.
can say-
Hold on. Simos was in before Marty. Unfortunately, our great leader may have to wait. But I'd like to hear Simos's opinion, and then I'd like to hear Marty's opinion.
Oh dear. Well, as you know, MathPig,
Samos
I
is
have,
picking up Laura.
Oh, dog, shush a minute.
I have a disability, as you know. You referred to recently in your latest podcast when we were on together.
That the same reason why you're a god, because of all that girth?
It is, yeah. I don't have anything to say on it, really. I mean, I'm just ignorant, so.
Well, on the topic of just straight up asking your opinion without being educated, you have a child, the child is born deaf, you can give them a cochlear implant. At the start, I was under the belief it was fixing it to 70 to 80% subjectively. It turns out that it's only 25 to 30 from what Savage has told me. So taking that information into account, you have a baby born completely deaf. Would you make the decision for that child before puberty to put a cochlear implant in?
No, I'd wait till they get to the age of reason, I think.
Yeah, I would even say like the age where they're asking for it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too.
Some doctors draw the line at puberty, but
Yeah, I think everyone would agree. You would not make a decision for another person.
If it was 100% return, 100% gain of hearing, I would definitely be behind it. If it,
But it would still be 100% when they were within the age of reason, wouldn't it, Robbie?
yes, but it
Surely.
would be 100%. If it was a guaranteed 100%, then they would grow up and be considered socially, because we have to take into the social dynamic of it. They would be normal and fit in and all the rest of it, and it would make their life better to have 100% hearing.
can we not like use words like fix and normal?
I
or,
did
like-
this. I did do this. I did this.
No, go ahead. It's your stream. People can say fix and normal. It's
Sorry,
whatever.
if
I
we're
don't.
talking about babies, I disagree a lot, like more than I used to disagree before, for the simple reason that a deaf baby will have way more difficulties, at school, getting an education and stuff like that. So that would be even worse.
Don't
I mean,
necessarily
waiting for getting to the age of reason, it's mental. Because you're basically handicapping the kid from the get-go. Because it will be a serious handicap in learning and in relating with other kids. So
No,
that
actually,
is
If we can let Marty has been right. Marty,
sign language before they are verbal.
let Marty give an opinion here. He's been shaking his head and doing little finger motions. Either he's having sex over here with his hands, or he's got something to say. So let's Marty have a.
I don't know what to do with my hands. So, this is, what is it, a week ago? You are all absolved. A week ago,
Thank you, leader.
or 2 weeks ago, Fabio and I were so on the same page that we were ready for world fucking domination. Today it's 180.
Sorry, my fucking phone
I
went. So
don't
you're going
think-
after world domination.
Oh, when are Fabio and I not going over world domination? We're just going
Robbie
for
already has world domination.
Oh, yes. But I don't think that my personal opinion is shared with Simus, right? When they reach the age of reason, when they have a ability to consent. But I think that the handicapped argument is relative to us, right? And to me, it brings a weird connotation of condescension, like, because even the word handicapped, like, just because you're not able to hear at the level that the normal distribution of people in the population are, the brain is resilient and they're still human, right? So to label them as handicapped compared to us, are they gonna have different obstacles? Yes. Are there more obstacles? Man, an argument would need to be made for that. I would need that to be justified, that there are more obstacles. Different obstacles? Absolutely. Ain't gonna argue with that. I see you nodding your head, Savage. But I would need, my position is provisional. I would need a justification for that handicapped argument, because since I don't buy into it, the waiting to the age of reason strategy makes a lot of sense to me. So I guess I'll leave it at that.
And that is determined on the 25% reality or the hypothetical of 100% hearing.
So the 100% bit throws me. I think that makes this a dishonest thought experiment. Only because I have a friend whose son was born without an ear, and they had the choice of getting a cochlear implant, but they were told, not 100% recovery, they were told that with the cochlear implant, he would be able to hear static and things that he would eventually adapt to and recognize as auditory stimuli. But it wouldn't be hearing in the way that we understand it. And both he and his wife decided, fuck that.
Yes.
You
See
know
that
what I mean?
at the start, at the very start of this, whenever Minnow started this disagreement, started this discussion, me and Stephen were very nope, because of the way it was put across. It was put across. Savage didn't do this intentionally.
I very early on said that it would be a digital simulation.
Oh yeah, it was like 20 minutes in, you know. But the point I'm making is I've changed my point. It's an arbitrary number. I've changed my point from the start because I was fighting under 70, 80, a higher percentage of that from the start. The fact that it's now being made aware to me that it is so little, and the fact that it is static. So just to point out, true skeptics change their mind.
Well, isn't everything we hear noise?
Let's recognize MathPig's at least attempt to maintain an opinion where he can change it in real time based on new evidence. That's what the fuck is up. Integrity at its finest.
Yeah.
It's
about a throat there, Robbie.
It's a rare thing in these, the internet's.
Don't get me wrong. If it was still 100%, I wouldn't.
I see it so infrequently. It needed to be pointed out.
It's the fact that new information was provided, so I changed my point.
In my experience, these days,
More information.
It seems that people are so
Same
easy to get embedded in what they feel that they want to be true or whatever, that they can't even entertain the idea of maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, with all that said, though, I mean, all of us have probably obviously seen videos of deaf people getting CIs and having their worlds completely change and come to tears because they can hear, right? They can hear something, and obviously I just spoke to my sister about it. She got it in 2013, which is a long time ago. So I really don't. I can't just accept on face value from you guys that, they just only hear static or only 20%. I think I would probably, before I just dove into believing that, I would want to, find out what current cochlear implants really do achieve and what they
That's
do
true.
give
Like my
people.
information is like 10 years old also, and like that technology is always
10
updating.
years old. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Why are we arguing to this? Minnow has been
Yeah.
banned, right? Kicking
So
Minnow.
I'm just saying that I have seen tons of videos of people that their lives have changed because they could hear clearly people speaking to them as soon as their ears adjusted to that cochlear implant. So and even kids, including kids, I've seen kids in these videos all of a sudden be able to hear their mom and their world changes. So you know, I just kind of want to throw that caveat on in there that if for me, I mean, I know it's a thought experiment, but if I could hear 20% more than nothing, I would rather hear the 20% more. In my
Max has
opinion.
been screaming
I
about
think
fucking.
that's an interesting point because in general we're talking about rules of thumb, and there's always exceptions to the rules, right?
Even's the
Everything
rule
needs
to
be
the
taken
exception.
on a case by case basis.
Huh?
But in general,
Yeah.
Can I tell you a
I
story?
certainly
as-
know. I
as-
certainly know.
as a
Your
staunch-
stream on
as a
Thursday.
staunch
Remember the live chat, Stephen?
Child religionist. I was born out. You know, I was brought up as an Orthodox Catholic. I had a cousin who had Down syndrome, and she was an abomination to God, to my family. And I'm ashamed to say so that as a child I agreed.
The problem
And,
is,
it wasn't until in my teens that I realised that, you know, I didn't pity her. I wanted her to be my friend, but she hated the whole world. And you know, a lot of these, especially, it's just an example of how bad religion is against.
Menno, check Discord.
People. Especially Orthodox people, and she's dead now. She died. You know, she had that extra chromosome that was wrapped. She had the 47 chromosome that was wrapped around the 46, and they were just trying. You know, she had a sad life. Bless her. And I didn't. I'm ashamed to say, you know, as a child, I sort of contributed to her sad life. I'm hoping I made up for it.
well,
When I got out of religion, and
I don't think you should beat yourself up too much about that, Doug. It's not about where we came from; it's where we're going, right? The fact that you've learned your lesson.
Yeah, I know that. But you know, I've also, you know, I've grasped the point that, you know, I'm religious injured for my life forever. All I can do is teach people up from my injuries that you know, I'll always be sad of losing God because no one's taught me any different. You know, I've always been alone in that sort of thought.
And you're allowed.
I
You're
won't
allowed to
believe
mourn
in-
loss. You're allowed to
No
mourn
one's
loss.
convinced me he doesn't exist. It's hard to say. I've convinced myself he doesn't exist, but I'm not sure because, you know, I've never been in that community. Where I'm in a community, you know, an atheist community where, you know, they don't believe. But a lot of them have not been in that situation. But anyway, we're talking about disabilities, aren't we? And you know, I had a cousin.
You're totally not rambling.
No,
at
we're
all.
talking about deafness.
You're not rambling at all. It's totally fine.
We're talking about disability. My cousin had Down syndrome, and she was terribly bullied through school in the 70s and the 80s. Fortunately,
There was a kid that I went to school with that had a CI. I didn't actually realize that that's what it was as a kid. But yeah, like he got bullied a lot as a kid.
My cousin
where I
slash
feel
auntie.
like gone to a deaf school. He would have
I
just
can
been
go,
one of the deaf
well,
kids.
Savage, I can go back to an earlier question and say, you know, the person that was bullied, would they not wish to be a regular person?
Oh man,
without that
kids
disability
will
they
pick on
have?
you for anything. Kids will bullying you for any goddamn thing. Like.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
he probably would have preferred to go to a deaf school. Maybe I don't know.
It doesn't matter, but
Being deaf, growing
I
up in
bet
a
at
deaf
some
school.
point in his
Being
life,
deaf. Hold on, Doug.
they wish they
Doug.
weren't
Doug.
deaf.
Doug. Being deaf, growing up in a deaf school. Of course, they would have preferred that because they're going to get. school is about. School is about finding people who are like-minded and you can click with. You know?
Yes.
Everybody is going to get picked on in school to one point. If they can't find, everybody finds something. You find your group of friends. That's what happens. Now, Marty, would you like to say something?
Yes. I want to kind of turn the question on its head because there are cases of parents who are deaf that give birth to a child with normal hearing.
Children.
So that's a non-genetic, and like I just told you, like I just told you, my sister, she was deaf in the womb because her mom took antibiotics, and so her kids are not deaf. However, the kids who are deaf because of genetics will have kids that are deaf.
So the question I have is, those parents, if they want to get surgery so that their hearing non-impaired child is hearing impaired so that they're like them, so that the child is like them. Let me put that differently. Parents with the disability have a child without a disability and want the surgery so that their child shares their disability. This is actually, cases like this exist. If anyone has taken a bioethics course, these are the kinds of topics that are talked about.
So I think also I'm kind of relating that again to like what Fabio was saying about like limb difference. If there were two parents who like only had one arm and they their children had two arms, where would we say we can change them to like make them like their parents? I don't
agree with that.
Child to be learning sign language than learning
My sister's kids all sign. They all sign perfectly fine. Yeah, my sister's kids sign perfectly fine. They can communicate with their mom perfectly fine.
Coda's
does that not give a child, they've learned another language instantly? Well, not instantly. I mean, it took a while.
Well, kids. I think Minnow said this as well. Kids, even toddlers who are hearing toddlers, can learn sign language before they're verbal. It's just easier. So, my sister's kids all learn sign language. They all sign right now. They're hearing kids, but no, she would never not want them to hear just to be like her. That's ridiculous. Right.
And just to write off of that point,
I would sooner want them learning sign
Dog.
language.
Right, if I have to shout any louder, only my wee girl is fucking brilliant. She's literally on the other side of that wall.
Quiet.
You need to learn that when other people try to talk, you have to give them a chance. No ranting is rule number 1. No interrupting is rule number 2. That also gives me the opportunity to shout at both people who are talking. So, Marty has something to say.
I apologize.
You're not.
I didn't hear anyone shout.
No, it's Doug. Don't worry. I'll just tell you to shut up when I need to. I still love the Bonesy. All right, I'm just blunt. Marty has something to say.
I was just going to mention about the idea that sign language is so intuitive that my sister, who teaches, she's a special education teacher, she will use sign language for hearing non-impaired children that just are special needs, because maybe they're not verbal and maybe they don't have the social skills through autism or any other kind of disability that prevents normal social communication. She'll use sign language to ensure that that they're getting their needs met, because it's sometimes easier for them to do the signs for please, I'm hungry, stuff like that, than it is to engage in the phonetics and the morphemes that are verbal language. So I mean,
I actually I have a 3-year-old, and I was like looking up on YouTube English lessons for toddlers, and I just came across this one that I thought was just pure English for toddlers. But the girl, as she was going through sentences and phonetics, she was using sign, and I didn't realize it at first. I didn't pick up on it, but then I picked up on it, and my son, like after that, was doing the exact same thing. Was like mimicking her, like
it's multimodal learning,
like easy, like it was easier for him. Yeah.
And also,
is she using SIMCOM?
What?
Simultaneous communication, SIMCOM.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have that in the UK. You can opt with your remote controls of your TVs. You can opt to have a little sign, a person doing a sign in the corner of the screen, or subtitles nowadays. But there was always a person on the BBC, especially Robbie will verify this. There was always someone doing a sign on the BBC, wasn't there, at certain times of the day.
Oh yes, they did the news, and then when it went late at night. But this is before you could stream, so you couldn't watch it at any time you want. And this is back in the days of before digital, so it was video. So I will Savage, I see you. I'll say this, and then you can go. What they did is they did the news and certain shows late at night at 2 and 3 in the morning, so that people could record them and then watch them back later on in the day. That was back when it was VCR. Now you can stream and just add that wee fucker. But, that was a thing. It was like a stream. It was a small square with a little person down in the corner. This is big box, small box. What am I doing?
And the person had to be little, too, to be hired for that
They
job.
usually wear a black shirt.
Big box, little box.
If they don't
So
fit
that
my
you have
shirt pocket-
contrast with your hands.
Yes.
I need to go. I'm falling asleep here. Not because you're all boring or anything.
Oh.
It's just that
Laura, compliment us more.
Yeah, I've been
Tell me more about my eyes.
Oh, nice to be on with you.
Laura joins for 15 minutes, and MathPig's channel is just like, oh, this is just what I needed to sleep. Brilliant.
Yes.
No, I've just
People arguing.
I only had 4 hours sleep last night, and then I had a railway show that I was going to. So,
Laura, I was the same.
and it's interesting because I've tried to explain Asperger's to people. My way of doing it is like juggling. So,
you watch. I would have functioning Asperger's, Laura. There's a channel. Tweet at me. I'll send you his link.
Same thing. I didn't get a diagnosis until 2010. So
Send me a message. I'll send you the guy's link. He's very, very good.
But the way that I have analogized it in order for people to understand is like, today I am burned out because I've had to deal with loads of people in outside of my normal comfort zone. So the way I describe it is like juggling. And if you've got 3 balls and you're happy with that and that works, you don't really have to think about it too much. It's the natural trend that you have. It's your normal. But then what happens is I end up going to this thing like today. And although everyone's great and everything, it's, lots of... if you can imagine, every ball is juggling an individual person.
Sure.
Knowing what the rules are. Am I talking too much? Am I boring them?
Right.
Things like that, and those little paranoias go on.
It's called paralysis by analysis.
Okay, so so there I am, and I've got more balls being thrown at me, and I'm like having to concentrate, and it's kind of, it's.
I said the same.
Takes up a lot of resources.
I literally had basically the exact same conversation with Steve. Specifically today, there wasn't enough time for everybody that needed it. I overwhelmed. I was very frustrated and wanted a fight to the point where I changed the thumbnail from MathPig Open Mic Night to Come Fight the Irish. I'm really wound up and need to scream at someone because I'm very frustrated because I have too many balls. It has been one of those days as well, Laura. And I only got sleep last night after about 5 days. I've been up to 5:30 every fucking night this week looking after. I get exactly.
I just want to continue the end of this. I just want to finish off this juggling analogy. So I used to go to this gathering of people, and there was a scene basically, and I was really thrown by it because I've always said to my friends that if I do something wrong, tell me about it. And suddenly I discovered that I had a reputation of talking too much when there's work to be done or whatever, and nobody had told me. And that I was annoying people and didn't know I was doing it. So in the juggling analogy, they just threw, 30 balls in the air, and suddenly I'm like, what the fuck is this? And you know, I had to run away. Effectively, I went to my room. I stayed in there, and the next morning I was gone before everybody else was awake. I was on the first bus out of there.
But Laura,
And
you have
I've never been
skills.
back since.
You
But-
have skills. I mean, literally a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a guy, and we were talking about World War II. I'm talking about the Messerschmitt 109.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I know a person that will know about that. She will know everything. And I had no signal. I was going to Twitter you.
Oh, right.
The Messerschmitt 109. What was its counterpart? What was it? I know something Hawk in the British side. But anyway, Laura knows about aircraft. She's brilliant about it. All aircraft, military or anything.
Yeah, I don't know about all aircraft, but yeah, I do know quite a lot.
I think the Spitfire was the
No more than
counterpart,
most
right?
of
Spitfire,
more than
yeah.
all of us here put together. So
Yeah, Spitfire
you
was.
do have skills. You do
The
have a
Spitfire
brilliant-
was the counterpart.
Yeah, depending
So
on what you
Tom,
are, though. North Africa, P-40 Warhawk or Tomahawk were, you know.
Yeah, well,
If I can
no,
say,
don't-
I want to say thank
don't
you.
say you don't.
Uh,
Don't say you have no skills.
I want to say thank you, Laura, for coming on. You know, for Laura is finished. I'd like Steve to have the floor and have Stephen ask the same question that I asked to Mowdy. Just to check in that you're fucking listening and not playing some Minecraft over there in the corner, you cunt, right? So,
I am playing something, but I have been listening as well.
Laura,
I'm autistic. I'm wildly able to fucking multitask.
thank you very, very much for coming, Laura. I do appreciate it.
Showing off now.
Yeah. He says he can multitask. It's a fucking lie. The cunt can't do tech or stream for shit.
Good to see you, Laura. Good to see you, Laura.
Yeah, and just want to point out, by the way, this
Yes,
show I
yes.
went to today was brilliant, and I met a bunch of friends that, you know, I've known for years in the model railway stuff. And also, actually, another thing that's to be learned by those kind of social interactions is that I discovered through forums and societies and groups and things like that sometimes the only thing you have in common with someone is that you play with model trains or you're an atheist or whatever. And outside of that, you know, that you have nothing in common with each other, whether it's socially or culturally or economically or, you know, politically. All these different aspects could be completely different. You would have nothing to do with each other. It's that one thing you've got in common. And although those one things can, you know, hold you together, it's not a very strong one.
Right.
And so one of my friends, you know, happened to be into railways too. So there's another common factor that joined us together. And likes planes as well. Well, there's another one. So we've got like 3 things in common and we can always talk about something. So, yeah, so although I am on burnout now and, like I say, hardly any sleep, I've had about 8 hours sleep in the last 3 days. And because I've been anxiously setting myself up for this. And now I'm on burnout, so it's going to take me 3 days to recover.
Well, at least you made friends.
I had a
good
great
connections.
time.
Yeah, good
while I
friends,
was
good
there.
connections, good time. Be stressful now, but now that you've made them connections, you can control how and control what happens further on. So you'll be in your comfort zone. You'll feel better and control what you can. Don't worry about what you can't, Laura. That's the way I try and move forward. Like.
You know what the hardest thing with internet forums and going to a show and meeting real people? Who are you? You know, you don't you know who they are with the avatar and the name on there, but you don't recognize their face, and they're talking to you as if they know exactly who you are and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, please give me a hint of who the hell you are.
Awful with names and shit. I bumped into a guy at the 13th of July over here. I went to primary school with this guy and his 2 sisters and his fucking cousin, right? His cousin's literally 2 weeks older than me, and his mum and my mum were best friends. And he bumped into me. I haven't seen him about 6 years, and he was like, "Well, Robbie, you still working in X and still working such and such?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's going well." For like 5 minutes until he said something that made the connection of who he was. Right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he's a bit more bald. He was pushing a pram. He's like less here and more here. But I've known this guy maybe fucking 35 years, and I'm 39 next week. It's like, how did I not make the connection? Strange sometimes.
I believe it's about association. Because Laura, you and I have been on many streams together, have we not?
Mm-hmm.
And then you know me, I know you.
Yeah.
It's all about association. I think it's all about association, appreciation, and you do, you know, human beings, we lose touch with our old adversaries and friends and things like that. You just lose touch. You know, that's just the way of life. We're not. You know, we're not monogamous. We are monogamous, but we're not. We just do that. That's the way human beings are. But,
do you know what?
It's like
involved. That's what it's all about, Laura. Just getting involved and keeping up.
It's like football. Same as football. It's all about association.
Do I like football? Yeah, of course I do.
Do you know what I did there?
Do I like football? I'm an Everton supporter, so you know I'm on the fence.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. The best thing that happened for me today was enjoying someone else's happiness. What happened was one of my friends is non-binary and turned up, you know, wearing a pink t-shirt and a miniskirt at this show, and you know, with eyeliner and pink mascara, pink eyeshadow and stuff, and felt great about it. Felt great about the R, and you know, and it's like, wow, that's brilliant. You know, I was there for the time when they came out to everyone almost. You know, it's like, yep, I'm going to be going, and this is what I'm going to be doing, and no one said a thing, no one looked weird, and it's like brilliant, you know. And that was a wonderful, you know, I'm. It was the same when I came out, you know. Yeah, sure, I had some people who didn't like me already or whatever, but you know, by and large, my friends have stuck with me, and I'm really happy about that.
Do you believe someone has just joined?
Secularism now.
Hold on. I do believe someone's just joined. I heard the beep. I don't know if you can see them, because I definitely can't.
It's Germania.
Ger doesn't
Hello,
deserve it. Ger doesn't deserve a camera. But, yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Ger.
It's nice to meet you as well.
I was in your side chat the other day when Nick was on your show, because Nick is a
that
dick,
was you.
and I had to bust his balls.
Oh, Nick and his $400 suit. Fuck's sake.
All $400 of it.
I love his voice. He has a voice that's like butter.
Would I be correct in saying? Would I be correct in saying that Teddy, is it Teddy, just turned up in the chat? Your way or Yahweh tested by fire? Is that Teddy?
Terry. Yeah, that's Terry.
Terry, not Teddy. Terry. Hi, Terry.
I thought it was your accent.
I love how.
I don't know what's going on. I can't see the chat for some reason.
I love how Germania is like, voice like butter, and then I'm thinking a MathPig is like, you know, badly gritted cement.
I love you too, Laura. Have you not left yet? Fuck's sake.
Laura has become my favorite person right now.
There's Jewell involved there, and it's like, you know,
outstanding.
Well, Ginger as well, Laura. You didn't mention that, did you?
Right, if anybody wants to timestamp that and record that, okay, please make that a video. Send it to me. I will upload it.
Speaking of dulcet tones, I fucking can't stand the sound of fucking MathPig's voice.
Would anybody else like to complain about the way I sound while we're at it? Let's make it at least 2 minutes.
No, the only thing is anytime you say girl, it sounds like "gur." So every time I'm in the stream and you're talking, I don't know, about one of your daughters or something, I think, wait, what was that?
Only half
one. I don't know that much about you,
MathPig, I love your voice. I think it's magically delicious.
It's absolutely fantastic. Have you seen the little charms at the bottom of me rainbow?
Here, now I'm MathPig.
Are you from Scotland?
So good.
Yeah. That's a fucking insult.
I'm not even. I have explained this so many times. I am literally an Ulster Scot. It's a total thing, and all the rest of it. Yes, I am Scottish. Yes, I am Northern Irish.
I was playing a game today, right? And then there was an Irish guy, and no, Scottish guy, beg your pardon, and we started chatting in the voice chat, and a guy from, I don't know, Central Europe somewhere said, "Oh wow, you guys are Irish." I'm like, hey, whoa, Scottish. You know, 1 in 4 chance. There's 2 of us. 50%.
You'd have been safer going with it. He probably disliked you more after he found out you were English.
The Scottish rule, there are
Exactly
others.
what he said. You're my actual dad. Like, like.
Oh yeah.
So right, Laura, right, let
If
Laura.
we share a common language.
I've never been so proud.
If Laura wants,
I've got a segue off to something which I think might be an interesting conversation.
oh, she's a shit
So-
stirrer. Stirs the pot and then runs off. Go for it, Laura.
I'm waking up now. But so I went to Birmingham today to go to this railway show, and afterwards I decided I'd just nip into the city centre area for a few minutes look at something. And then I'm coming back, and I'm outside. I'm just about to pass McDonald's, and I end up with these 2 ladies and like 3 kids in pushchairs, and saying, you know, can you buy some food for us? And I'm quite a giving person, you know. I'll go into the city or something, and you know, you get homeless people. They haven't spoken to a single person other than can you give me some money or what, you know, some change or something. And so sometimes I'll just like buy them a Subway sandwich. Say, you know, come, let's go and get a Subway sandwich. You know, and you have a Subway sandwich and you have a nice chat. And you know, they may have haven't spoken to someone like a real person, you know, all day long. And it's just nice to do that, you know. So I just like I feel like, you know, I haven't just filled their stomach. I've filled their heart a bit as well, you know, and the same for me.
You know,
But
but when you said felt someone's heart, I just heard vampire and you doing this and going, you know.
No, I actually admire that. It's them people that post this situation on YouTube that I hate. You know, they'll take a vagrant or a tramp or a homeless person, and they'll put them in a situation where, and they'll film the whole scenario and post it, and I think that's just so degrading.
Yeah,
and humiliating for that guy. Why
they're not a tool for someone else's
Absolutely, it's all for their own likes and personal gain. I think that is horrible. What you did, Laura, taking someone there personally and just buying them a sandwich and having a chat with them, it is amazing. Well done.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that I do. You know, I don't really give money, but I will buy.
I was gonna say that's pretty good.
But anyway, so today, you know, outside McDonald's, these 2 women sort of say, "Can you buy us some food for the children?" kind of thing, you know, some fries. And it's like, yeah, go on then. So we go in and get in the queue, and then we get to the front of the queue, and it's like, yeah, I need 3 lots of fries. And then this lady goes, and can I have a wrap and a so-and-so? I was like, well, hang on a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now the thing is, I'm generous.
Right.
But they're taking the piss as
They'll
well.
take advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, wait a second. We were talking about fries for the kids. You didn't even mention you. You know, you just said not for us, for the kids. You can't go not for us. I mean, this is what I'm thinking, of course, didn't say these things. But is that you can't say, you know, not for us, it's for the kids, and then say, I'm going to have more than the kids are going to get. You know, which just felt wrong. And so ultimately, I just said to the cashier, just ignore them. I'm paying. I'll have 5 lots of fries and a large banana milkshake, please. And they got the fries, and that was it.
You know, I like that you're getting them food instead of just giving them money. You know, the other day here, like panhandling's a big problem here, and there was a pregnant woman with her kid, and they were panhandling, and
What is panhandling?
Panhandling's like begging for money, basically, and another person filmed this pregnant woman after probably several hours of begging for money, gets into a BMW. Her husband came and picked her up in a BMW, and they followed her and tried to interview her or whatever. These people were making a living off of just getting a few $100 a day by pretending to be homeless. And so that's a big problem here. And not only that, but like in the in the United States, there's tons of shelters. There's tons of what do you call it? Not companies, but there's organizations which will feed and clothe and shelter homeless people. And so it's always recommended to donate to those groups rather than give money to homeless people, because primarily it ends up going to drugs and alcohol and just
I believe because 90% of beggars in the UK are professional beggars. They do it for a living.
I just want to say, right, you know what? I don't know how we ended up in the beggars conversation. I went. Oh, there was McDonald's and Laura was having. Let's not make a big broad brush about professional beggars and stuff like that. I feel like saying I've experienced that as well. You know, working in a shop and they used to come in, like dump hundreds of pound coins onto a table, and go back across into the south because they didn't even live in the north. You know. We could say lots of bad things about professional beggars. I feel like saying that and discussing that is a bad sort of trend, you know. So
I just take people at face value. I think that's.
We talk about how Savage was an asshole, and you know people should hear
again.
Is that
no different than a priest, though? Is that no different than a priest and a tax-free business? I believe it's
it's not
the same thing. Profession, priests and religion and whatever you. The Pope is a professional beggar.
Do you live in a big city, Stephen?
Not a big city. Like it's a decent population here, but it's not a big city.
Do you suffer from homelessness in your city? You're very quiet. I'm just trying to use any excuse to engage you.
You know what? I'm looking at
I thought we weren't talking about people who are unhoused.
Yeah. I'm just looking at how Melty's changed it to Holy Speckle as an atheist, and she might as well be to the real Christians.
Oh yeah, definite heretic. Definite heretic.
I saw something on Twitter earlier today from her, and she was talking about Christian anarchist. If you remember,
do I have that? Do I save that? Did I save all hail our great leader as a scrolling text?
You can't actually see that in the outside.
Is that any better,
Laura? You just.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Okay.
Sorry, I hacked the whole thing. Nothing that works in StreamYards for everybody else.
Oh, Uncle Beck's here too.
Is that any better? Hello?
No.
Is that any better?
Stephen, you're still very quiet. Stephen, you changed camera and it's probably picking up the mic from the camera. You're running at 25%. You better be enough deaf.
What?
I was so glad that SOS stopped by as somebody who has an immediate sibling.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I apologize for last week calling you soldier of something.
You don't really care, Robbie, do you?
What?
No, I don't care. They always were. They were soldier of science, and they used to have, I think, a blue icon, and I totally remember them. And then they came on last week or the week before, whatever it was, with their camera on as a name SOS. So we've never spoken before, and it was like, yeah, we have. And like 20 minutes later, someone called them soldier of science, and I was like, yeah, now I know who you are. You used to have an icon and never in camera and a different name, but yeah, now I know who you are.
Well, you know what it is. It's like StreamYard lets you come in and edit like the name, and I'm far too lazy to type in Soldier of Science, so I'm like SOS. That's good.
Yeah. But you used to be Soldier of Science.
I still am. My YouTube is Soldier of Science, and I sometimes I go interact with the people on Modern Day Debate, and Amy Newman, and
Amy's
all the same people, T-Jump, all the same people you guys probably know, and I'm Soldier of Science.
I'm the same. I don't want to type in Donald Oliver Giovanni, but I just dog.
You keep triggering my ABBA fetish. That's the problem.
Everyone's got an ABBA fetish. What's up with you?
Do you know what one of my favourite sort of name things? So a number of years ago, Mr. Mouty and I were on a podcast together, which was Alex Bottom's one, which was the Aristocrats. And at the start of it, I was the post-show host. And, but it was like Rear Admiral Mouty and what was mine again? I've forgotten now. Oh, that's right, Sir Clifford J. Umper the 24th.
Yeah.
Which was entertaining. And so every now and again, we'll just sort of throw in that in live chats and things, and it's comical. But one of the assholes of the internet was a guy called Richard Raspberry, and he didn't know it was Cliff Jumper. So everyone used to just call me Cliff for short. So he thought my name was Cliff. And so he made a video after something, and he's like, this Clifford character. So it's like, never been Clifford, never actually been a Cliff either. That was not my former name.
Yeah, but Laura, you made an impact, didn't you? You made a video about you.
Well, he made a video about me because
if that's not impactful, I don't know what is. No one's made a video about me.
Just to say, I want to ask, is Spackle now added?
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh,
Spackle, you're not on
Jesus.
camera because I need to tweak this again. It's not working. I think 10's an awkward number. I like 9 because it's a nice square, but I've changed the setup recently and now I have a spur slot for the 10.
9.
I like
sorry.
uneven numbers. Number 9.
But I haven't put the, like, if you look at the
Gary Glitter numbers there.
I say 9 to that.
9. I know fucking German.
Gary Glitter, Jimmy Savile numbers there.
Like 6 because it goes with 6. So.
Yeah, it's just the 3x3. I like squares. I tried to fuck about with it last week with Mowdy and bring Mowdy on, and the entire thing crashed that I had to restart the StreamYard for me. And yeah, I'm not doing that again. So I can't see
I'm
you.
not ready to start a fight.
I can't see you, but I appreciate you joining.
I'm
I've come
a
here to
potent
start a fight.
personality. I break down existing internet connections with my mere presence.
Balls?
It also helps that I know Fabio.
Balls are like lava lamps. Change
see
my
that.
mind.
Right
Balls.
now, they're more. We're not even going to go into how sweaty and muggy it is right here, but my balls are not like lava lamps.
Well, that's disappointing. They're
Other
supposed
than
to be
breaking
lava
YouTube
lamps.
terms and service, I can't prove that to you.
They do the like descending, ascending, like where they, dance around a little bit and stuff.
Yeah, this
with
is
the
a sensitive
temperature.
topic for me. Like last year, I was in hospital because my daughter kicked me between the legs, and I was in hospital for 3
I
days.
remember that.
Yeah, it's very
You
sensitive.
you sitting on the
do actually remember that.
on the fire escape stairs, giving a podcast. That was really that was
That's determination.
awesome, but disturbing.
But MathPig, are they lava lamping now? Are they recovered?
Oh, they are recovered, but see. This is a joke, right? I'll share a private joke that I've said to Amber before. I can always like ladies' boobies. There's one bigger than the other. They're never exactly the same. But I can't remember if the left one was bigger than the right one, but now the right one's bigger than the left one. So I don't know who was there first. But right now, the right one is bigger than the left one. And we're going to go with that as a standard. But the right one was the one that swelled.
Bitter and Guinness on either
Math
one.
Pig.
You're gone, mate.
Which is your favourite one, MathPig?
Well, not the right one, because the right one swelled to 6 times its normal size and caused me the most pain I've ever felt in my life. So the left one is my favourite.
So are we talking about boobs here? And you had
Stretch that much to accommodate?
I
for
was
such
I was
tiny
talking
size?
about boobs, but typical MathPig, he only wants to talk about male genitalia. He's obsessed. He's obsessed.
Specifically my own girth, Simos. Specifically my own girth. Oh no, wait. That's you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to learn a transgender embarrassment issue? I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. I don't like to talk about it much, but it's entertaining in a weird way.
If we can get a giggle out of it.
Okay, so basically, thanks to estrogen and a sort of partial testosterone blocker, things have shrunk down there.
Oh, the what? Yeah.
And so, like, when it comes to foreskin, because I'm British, so
it's still there.
They still got the Steve Jobs polo neck. And so, when I became, when I went through puberty, it's the foreskin couldn't contain it all anymore, and now it does. But also, thanks to estrogen, all my skin is really soft everywhere. You know, face, hands, shoulders, everywhere, including that. And because that has gone soft, what I've now got is a trunk. And so what happens if I really need to pee? I have to sort of push it in the right direction. Otherwise, it will go like that and scoop upwards and go between the seat and the bowl.
This is way much
And
information.
I will peel
But I
over
will
my
say
legs.
this: you could definitely make an excellent helicopter if you do the helicopter.
As a heterosexual,
I am feeling very privileged that you
you're
are
just
comfortable.
upset
I am feeling very
me that
privileged.
that
Hold on,
as
dog.
a
If I
trans
get
female,
dog,
you've got a bigger dick than me.
I am
That's
feeling
just
very
fucking
privileged.
wrong.
That,
I don't-
oh, he's
I
still
don't-
going.
I-
Doesn't listen.
I feel so inadequate now.
Thank you very much, Laura, that you feel comfortable enough to share that with you. I'm going to put that up there with answers and reasons discussing about the loss of his daughter. All right, that is very comfortable. Doug, really. Thank you. All right.
I appreciate it as well. You know, with that said, I have an ongoing debate with my fiance, who, you know, I'm an atheist. She's Catholic, and she wants our son, you know, to get the snip, and I'm like, hell no, you know. It's child abuse. I haven't said that, but yeah, that's an ongoing issue for us. I've managed to hold off so far, but
That's a
we'll
big
see.
thing. Like now, the mother of the child wouldn't be fundamental, but she does want the child christened. She does want her.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yep.
all that sort of Christian things that she's been through.
Yep.
Right. I've got her to admit that, you know, getting the child christened and shit was just a lot of her family.
Yeah.
A long way away.
Come on, it's not like Irish people need that an excuse.
Oh no, she's a Catholic. she is a Catholic from originally. Well, her family's originally from down south. They moved up here. They live in Derry and not Londonderry. I think her uncle used to hang around with Martin McGuinness. If anyone's from over here, would know the relevance of that. But it's a yeah. Would you just say, "Oh baby"?
No, I just said, by the way, SOS, you know, if you want to have a point with your fiancée, just tell her that being a Catholic and having the snip, it has nothing to do. And the source is, I'm Italian, we have the fucking Pope here. I know what I'm talking about. They're all Catholics. So that doesn't, I mean, those two things, they don't go together. I mean, they
No,
don't
you know what it
necessarily
is
go
too.
together.
You know what it is she's Filipina, and so it's very cultural in the Philippines.
Oh yeah,
and not only that, what's interesting is she's like, well, first of all, they're going to be coming over to America, but one of her reasons is like, you know, if he doesn't get it, he's going to be made fun of by other kids. He's going to be bullied. Is one of her reasons, and what's super funny is just like this last weekend, she went to a born again church because her sisters have started going to this born again church, even though she's Catholic. But she's also like, we need to get him the christening, and I'm like, do born agains get christening? Are you a born again now? Like, you know, she's like, no, I'm not born again now, but I go to the church because my sisters go there, and I'm like, okay, this is all confusing.
yeah, super. I mean, good fucking luck with that, man. Because I mean, I feel that you're gonna need it. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Circumcision in the Catholic Church is accepted, but it's not. You know, it's not mandatory. I mean, that's a Jewish thing. It always will be.
Yeah, it's a Jewish thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's all about sexual repression. That's what circumcision.
And the thing about it is, you can understand why.
This is where the Bible is hypocritical, or you know, God made us what He is.
No, and I was circumcised when I was a kid, but everybody was.
When it comes to religious,
I also think that it's like a cultural thing in the U.S. that like we don't want to like teach boys about like hygiene, so like that like helps to like avoid infection if like they're not hygienic. But like maybe we just teach boys to wash themselves. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's true. That's true that it's a hygienic issue, but at the same time, it is abuse.
Doug,
right. Like,
Doug,
it's
Doug,
2022.
Doug,
It's not
Doug.
an issue anymore.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me maybe G-Man is uncircumcised and that was the problem.
Always gets the dick flu. That's the point.
When it comes to most religious matters with the child's mother, I have, and I say that because I'm raising my daughter as well. Spackle is now here, so if you want, you can put your camera on. I know that even if she's christened or even if she's baptized or she goes to these things and stuff like that, I'm raising my daughter to the point that when she gets to an age of maturity, she's going to know me raising her as well. All right, sorry, Spackle, no insult, but you know, I'm going to raise her as a skeptic regardless. So my daughter will have the choice, and I understand the SOS. That's a physical fucking thing.
I'm so accepting your questions, but I know that you're going to make the right choice.
Indoctrination.
Yeah, the right choice. The right choice for her is regardless of what it is, and I will support her regardless. But I have raised her.
Okay, good. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
I've already seen it in her though. She started to question Santa already, and she's only 5, like, you know. So.
Oh my god. Okay, here's something. So, funnily enough, it's just
Sorry, Spackle. I love you.
Smegma.
Here's something that Spackle will get. So the
That was a vocab word when I was like in pony club at like age 10.
What's
I would,
smegma?
like freak my friends out with that, and they'd be like, "What the fuck?" I'd be like, look it up.
Look it up.
I changed the when I was like 10. I changed the whole dolphin. There was this TV show called Flipper here, and I changed that whole song into his name is Smegma, Smegma, faster than lightning.
If I can just say, for the 8 people,
I know that song.
For the 8 people who fucked off to Rage, you're not listening to this, but yous are wankers for leaving to go to fucking Rages. All right, fuck yous all, yous fucking wankers. And for the asshole in the chat, right? And I call him an asshole because he knows he's a fucking asshole. I know it's your birthday soon, so tighten your anus and fuck off. All right, there you go. Use that for your video. He's been trying to get me to say it for about a year, so.
I've got
I've said it like 14 times.
I won't. And he's been whinging. I said it the other night, and I was on 4 streams the other night. I asked him just to watch the 4 streams that I was on to find it, and he's too lazy to do it. So, there you go, Titan. That's for you.
How long were these streams?
I think it's his birthday coming up, and they're making a collage of everybody.
I've got a fun little story for you. So
I'm not on Titan's collage.
A few weeks ago, I went into Manchester City Centre, and there was a street preacher. And I was supposed to be meeting some friends, but they were delayed. So it's like, I've got some time to kill. Let's get stuck into the street preachers.
Yeah.
And, so, you know, I basically did the whole resurrection account, 4 different versions. The Matthew version is the Michael Bay version, as I jokingly call it, because Michael Bay movie, if a car explodes, it's not enough that it explodes. You need to do 4 somersaults in the act of exploding. And, you know, sort of like, the women go to anoint the body of Jesus. Who's going to move the tombstone out of the way? Oh, look, the tombstone's been already moved out of the way, says most of them, except for Matthew, where there's a giant earthquake that only one mentions, and an angel swoops out of the sky and moves the tombstone out of the way. And, you know, I'm going backwards and forwards this guy. And, you know, there are contradictions. How do you know which one is true? If that one's true, then the other ones are not true, and so on. So, and he was kind of like, he couldn't afford to give up his faith, you know.
Right.
And so he was having sort of digging himself deeper into this hole that he was creating for himself by forcing it into it. It's this. And it's like, you know, and like, for example, he tried to say that You know, if I move my amplifier with my right hand or my left hand or both hands, as long as it gets there, does it matter if the details are different? It's like, yeah, well, there's a difference there. No one's salvation is going to be based upon how you moved your amp,
Right.
Which is, Christianity, the salvation of it all. And the reason why I went at him hard like this, and I'm not like bawling him out or anything like that, just really pushing him hard, and to the point that ultimately he realized that I knew the Bible better than he did, and all he could do was just get closer to the microphone and start shouting louder and pretending I didn't exist, which is la 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 territory.
Well, I mean, you almost have to you'd have to expect that from a street preacher who's obviously committed to, his whole life to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think that there is probably a good percentage of actual preachers who work in the church, and they went to seminary school, and they actually really believed in God, and they went to seminary school and started learning about apologetics. And there's got to be a good percentage of them that goes, hey, this is kind of bullshit, but by this point, I've invested 20 years of my life into this, and I'm about to start my own church. I'm about to make my own money off of this, and probably have no way of backing out at that point, even probably not believing in God anymore. I don't think street preachers are like that. I think street preachers have a something loose in their head for the most part. But I do believe that not the majority, but at least probably 50% of people who go to seminary school and learn apologetics don't really believe in what they're preaching.
I disagree. I think it's a far lower percentage. I think it's closer to 10% don't believe. And I would say that there is a percentage of preachers that don't believe later in life. Typically, it happens later after they've been in clergy for a long time. And that's why you have places like the Clergy Project that help people get out of, because they
That's
don't.
what I was thinking. Yeah.
Oftentimes they have a degree that doesn't translate to other things. However, it is untrue to say that you can't have a career after preacher, because a lot of times preachers can flow very nicely into nonprofit organizations because it's the same
Service work.
Yeah. But anyway, so basically, when it got to the dishonesty of this guy, fingers in the ears, close the eye, la 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 type stuff, it was like, right, there's no point in wasting my time on him anymore. And I walked down the street and there's another one. Now the thing is, this guy didn't go after him at all, because unlike the first guy who was basically, you'd better believe in this thing that I believe in, if you don't, you're going to hell, condemnation attitude. This other guy was, I love Jesus, Jesus loves me, I'm happy about this, and this is why I'm happy about it. It wasn't condemning, it was, this makes me happy and this is why. And I can get behind that. I'm an atheist, but I'm not an anti-theist. And so
Right.
I don't want to kill his belief if it makes him happy, and all he's doing is claiming why it makes him happy. Not more, but you're evil and you need to obey what my book thing says. And they're the ones that idolize the Bible. It's a tool that they can.
I have a problem with like any religion across the board that what basically if your religion says what I need to do, I have a problem with it. Your religion can tell you what to do,
Yeah.
and that's fine, but your religion has no say on my life.
Yeah, if you're on a street corner and you're preaching it out to a bunch of people, I have no problem telling you to shut the fuck up.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, Laura's
on
a
that
great
note,
hey,
hey, shutting the
I
fuck
did
up,
find a
shutting
really
the
easy
fuck up.
cure a couple minutes ago for getting rid of the proselytizers at the door. Go wearing wireless headphones and go, I am in the Zoom meeting. Boom, gone.
15-minute warning. 15-minute warning. Okay, we're doing a 15-minute warning.
So when?
So Laura made a great analogy there that this guy was in a hole and there was an atheist there prepared to pull that guy or person out of that hole. We know that in America, religion's all about money, control, and power, and fear.
Okay.
It's all about that. basically what religion is there.
A lot of
In
religions.
Africa-
Most religions.
At all. That's cool.
And there's a YouTuber called the African Humanist, Esther.
Afro-humanist. Afro.
We know that
Afro.
atheist activism's nothing but a fraud.
The
They're here to
Afro-humanist
fleece you
is
and then
absolutely
mimic the
awesome.
evangelical church the same way. They do the same programs in the same exact way.
You know, and
Fall for them.
I'll even interject. I would say that a lot of the street preachers in the United States were people that were drug users. They were down on their luck in some areas of their life, and then they found salvation through a church, through a church. And so they honestly believe that their life turned around because of God.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
just
Well,
mention
I haven't said anything for a while.
No, dog. I'm
Wait,
sorry. Sorry,
hang on a
dog.
second.
You can't. There's other people trying to talk.
I haven't
and
said
you-
anything for a
No,
little
I
while.
was
I just
speaking,
want to
Rob,
say,
and
there's
Damos is
two
trying to
things.
talk,
I
dog.
was putting
Dog.
into from
Dog.
what I was saying. My pinned tweet.
I know you're
on
ignoring me.
Twitter
I've asked you to like
is
let.
Christianity does not pray for the vulnerable; it preys on them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, two things I just want to Italy gave the world, both very similar. Christianity and the mafia.
You guys don't have a problem. You guys don't have a problem with Christianity. You have a problem with the institution, man-made institutions who have appropriated the
Terry,
term
is that
Christianity.
you? Hold on, Terry or Teddy? I can't remember. Is that Terry or Teddy? Or...
Catholic is probably
Dog, please shut the fuck up. I don't want to have to turn the editor off to remove you from the room. I'm asking you to be quiet. I directly asked another person on the panel a question. Please.
Terry.
Terry, why? I
Yeah.
don't know why. Are you using Jesus as Lord?
Yeah, I just wanted to let the people know
Oh no,
what,
no,
what I
no,
ride for.
That is 100% Terry. I have no problem with you proclaiming that you love God, but Jesus is Lord is an actual person in the community. He goes by the name. We refer to him as Jill. So just
strictly we refer to him as Calamity Jill.
Oh, I call him Trigger's Lord.
Yeah, but I just wanted to.
Oh no,
bring
I
some
just wanted
clarity
to clarify. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah,
who
no
you
problem.
were.
Just a quick clarification. You guys' problems now with Christianity. It's more
Holy
with
Spackle, Holy Spackle is a Christian. She was here earlier. Savage Minnow is a Christian. We don't have problems with Christians.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
No, I'm not a Christian.
Neither
Okay,
is.
no problem. Just until you guys know, because I don't think there's anything with Christianity a person could have a problem with. But I do agree with you guys that I'm against every man-made institution that misappropriated the name Christianity to do what their own lustful pleasures.
Well, to a certain point, I hang about an awful lot with a fella called Richard Madsen, and Richard Madsen's online YouTube name is Demolish Doctrine because he believes in destroying all religious institutions as they are as well. He is also a Christian. Some people call him a heretic. On that, you agree, and I think that's about as far as it'll go.
Also, just to point out quickly that I'm a monotheist, and therefore I am technically a Christian as well.
I was supposed to debate.
I'm not a religious person. I live around 99.99% religious people, so I have a tendency to probably be a little bit more understanding or sympathetic to Christians than maybe a lot of other atheists are, because everyone I know is a Christian.
On that topic, Teddy. It is Teddy, yes?
Yeah,
It's Terry.
Yeah, you can call me
Terry.
Terry,
You
okay.
can call me Terry.
Terry. Well, I don't know why he keeps saying he's throwing me off with the Jesus is Lord, you know.
Yeah, but he is. That's the reason why I have it. That's my banner.
The fact that you say that, man, as
one of my best friends.
Every time we see that or hear that, we think of an agent, a troll, a calamity. That I know.
No, but you're familiar with me. No, aren't you familiar with because
I am familiar, not familiar with your icon. I can't
are.
see you. I can't see you, man. Have you got video?
I just think of everything.
Just to point out, biggest band in the world, the Beatles,
Oh.
said it's 8 days a week.
Cool.
8 days a week. All
It's
right, biggest
definitely
band in the
Terry.
world.
It's definitely Terry.
All right, so the thing is, you should know by now, because I think you wanted to host a debate between me and Jason.
I did.
You should know that I'm not your typical so-called Christian. I actually demonstrate Christianity.
Well,
so when I say just to finalize, when I say Jesus is Lord, I'm not just saying it just to say it. I could demonstrate that He is Lord over you, and you should know by 7-day cycle argument. I'm not going to use it today, but until somebody doesn't argue against it or refute it, I've demonstrated that Jesus is sovereign over everybody.
Okay, well,
So,
I'm
yeah.
going to just give you this little bit of snippet information, all right?
Obviously not including John Lennon.
Oh, except for John Lennon, right? Let me just say this before anyone else. I understand your intention 100%. I understand that using that name is you sharing with the people that you believe this. The problem on this panel and in this channel, in this little community, is there is what we would refer to as a joke. Yeah, I have a soft spot in my... There you go. Now we're grand. Should just say Teddy. Should have changed it to just Teddy.
No, I'm here to serve the delicious. So every time I come, I cater to the people, provide them food for thought, and make sure that they are provided with what is necessary, not what they want, but what's good for their health, mental, physical, and spiritual health.
Okay.
Sandy, can you provide evidence that Jesus is Lord?
Well, I have an OnlyFans page if you want to donate.
I donate information.
Jamie,
It's
Jamie.
really,
Okay, well, in that case, you can participate in my GoFundMe page.
No, I donate information because there's a famine of information. There's a lot of BS in this world, and just a minority of people have that exclusive knowledge of what reality is. So that's my mandate.
So here's my man.
If I can just ask, if I can just say, hold on, I'm gonna say something, and then we're gonna pass the soldier of fortune, okay? Or soldier of fortune, for fuck's sake, soldier of something, as I've been calling him, right? Christian Middle Earth.
No.
That's Jamie.
Very quick thing. I'm gonna go. I will catch you all another time.
did it.
Okay.
It is Jamie.
Good hearing from you.
Thanks,
See you, Laura.
Thanks for letting me in. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
I still haven't gotten to hear Spackle's opinion
Spackle's
on
gone.
if babies should get cochlear implants.
Spackle's gone.
Well, that was the original question.
Yeah,
Why
Spackle's
are we
gone.
here?
Everybody
guess
here is
they're
on the
looking
panel.
down.
So, Jamie, have you met Teddy before?
Where'd Spackle go?
Terry.
Yeah, of course.
And does Terry know Jamie?
Teddy.
Of course, he's
Fuck you,
an
man.
Adventist, so he's familiar with my train of thought, my line of reasoning. Yeah.
So yes, as you ended, that means that you do know him, or are you just saying he agrees with your points?
Yeah, he knows me. I know him. We had interaction. I went on this channel.
At the minute in the community, everybody knows you because you're. But I'm asking, do people know Jamie? You know, do you know Jamie?
No, I spoke to him personally on this channel. Yeah, so I don't know him personally, like.
Oh, but
we're
you've
not
been to
best
his
friends.
channel. You've been to his channel. You know
Yeah.
who he is. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
So you're from.
Yeah.
Because he said in the channel, God made the 7-day week, prove me wrong, and I know that you would just instantly agree with that. So that means that he's a brother in arms with you. So I'm wondering, do you actually know Jamie?
Okay, so Jamie, you came up with a show saying.
No, I was repeating, because I know the argument. I agree with that.
Hey, spread it, keep spreading it, man, because I can't be the only one doing this. and it's not necessary for salvation, but it's a way to destroy every skeptic.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Who's that? SOS?
Not even in any realm. That's got to be the one of the weakest apologetics I've ever heard.
Right, this
in
is
my
what's
life.
this is what's going to happen because there's a couple of people. This is what's going to happen because there's a couple of people talking. Terry, Teddy, fucking that asshole in the corner, Simos, keeps throwing me off by correcting me no matter what I say. If I say Teddy, he says it's Terry. If he says Terry, it's I'm confused. So anyway,
call me whatever you want. It's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna call you M.
Tony,
yeah, we'll call him Tony, right? Tony, Big Tony, right? Big Tony in the corner like the mafia guy. That's what we're going to call you. Oh, Tony. Lost the
Tony,
train of
we're
thought.
running
I'm
out.
gonna let we're gonna let SOS and Tony have a conversation. Please relax, dog. Nicholas, I would like to give you the floor for all of about a minute to say thank you for joining. Love your suit and appreciate you being here.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see if I can get my camera working. The only comment I've got to make is I've used to do counter apologetics for a long time. I've heard the argument that this is the infallible proof. I've heard it from basically every single religion. I've heard it from probably about 1,000 people at least.
Right.
They all have had the exact same strength of conviction as you have, and they've all been wrong. So,
yeah, exactly. It's a dumb apologetic, to be honest with you.
Right.
I have yet to
Especially if you define a day when space and time, which is in our knowledge of space and time of what a day is, didn't exist when God existed for infinity before that space and time, right? It's pretty dumb.
If I can,
It's pretty dumb
if I can,
concept.
I'm gonna jump in. Soldier of Science, can you rephrase that as a question so that Big Tony has something to retort to rather than you believe this, he says what you
Then the
believe.
statement.
And
Yeah.
nobody goes
Or
anywhere.
even a claim. Make a claim even.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
So the
Rephrase
claim.
the question.
So here's my claim that any reference to a day being an actual 24-hour period in the Bible is defunct, and it was written by people who knew what a day was, rather than a God who existed before a day even existed, before space and time.
Evening and morning, evening and morning.
Yeah, the problem, I don't understand how that's even relevant to my argument. I don't know if you know my argument, but the day concept is only relevant to people. Like, it's not relevant to God. God is outside of time. So
Right.
he came with a system for us, not for him. So I don't know if you know my argument. He's the author of the 7-day cycle, number one, and he predicted its universal application as a sign of his authority over all nations. So this has nothing to do on him being subject to time and space. It has to do with us being subject to his will.
Okay.
By the fact
Let me respond to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me respond to that. Obviously, a 7-day cycle is just arbitrary, right? Like, you could be on a 10-day cycle, you could be on a 5-day cycle.
I agree.
Like humans can literally define any type of cycle. So to say that this is somehow special, that a God created the 7-day cycle is bogus, because literally you could be on a 14-day cycle, right? That's just 2 7-day cycles, right? So that's all arbitrary. And what I first wanted to say,
exactly an amount, not like 365.
Just let
days.
Just
Like-
let SOS finish. Just let SOS.
and what I first came in to say is that the entire concept of Jesus dying for your sins is a ridiculous concept if you think about the logic behind it. Because if you believe in an all-knowing God in the first place, then you would have to believe that an all-knowing God created Adam and Eve to sin, to then populate the world, to then populate it with sinners, to then flood it and kill everybody except Noah. Remember, keep this in the back of your mind. This is an all-knowing God that's doing this, kills the world, and leaves Noah there to then repopulate the world again, second time, with a bunch of sinners, to then go to then finally say, you know what? I'm not going to kill everybody. I'm just going to send myself, aka his son Jesus, to forgive you of the sins that you're still going to commit from here on out. So here's my question then. Why the flood? Why not just send yourself, aka Jesus, in Noah's time? Just send Jesus down at that time to die for everybody's sins at that time.
We get your point.
So-
we get your point.
There you go. Answer that.
Here's the thing. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole because I want to.
Why
go back
not?
To your, because
Why
I
not?
want to. Can I just finish
Not a rabbit hole,
my
it's
thought?
It's not a rabbit hole. It's a
Dog,
valid
hold
question.
on. Shush. Hold on. Savage, Dog, and Science, Soldier of Science, be quiet. He did try to interrupt once, and then Terry, I'm confused again. Big Tony did let Soldier of Science finish his statement. So rather than everybody retort with what they disagree with, the first sentence he said, let him finish.
I appreciate MathPig for your honesty and
I'm
your.
a dick to everybody,
impartial-
man. Don't worry, I'll shout at you too later.
Your impartiality. His issue, because he spoke about reasoning, right? So before I go to the next, second objection, I'd like to establish his line of reasoning is something that is very flawed as it relates to somehow suggesting that the 7-day cycle being arbitrary is somehow militating against my argument, because I established that the 7-day cycle is arbitrary, and it has no impact on the how my argument follows, because it's the first proposition still stipulates that God is the author of the 7-day cycle. It's arbitrary in that sense. And secondly, he prediction, the universality application of the 7-day cycle as a sign of his authority. So the 7-day cycle being arbitrary is totally irrelevant. And you need to take into account the fact that history can clearly establish that every nation kept a different cycle for cultural and religious purposes. So you can go through the line of history, the time of history, and you can realize, you would realize that every nation kept a specific calendar for the worship of their God. So you need to explain to me, how was Jesus able to predict 2,000 years ago, when only Israel kept a 7-day cycle exclusively, every nation being submitted to a 7-day week, going against their religious and cultural purposes, cultural practices? That's what you need to establish. Saying it's arbitrary is totally irrelevant.
That's like saying hindsight is 20/20, and obviously, the nations who have the greatest economies, which in this case is the United States, and developed economies based around the U.S. dollar, and the United States basically coming out of Christianity and Judaism, is incorporating a calendar like which all Western societies do, and you know what? China doesn't necessarily. I mean, they may adhere to a 7-day calendar for practicality, but they still adhere to their own calendar for traditional and cultural events. So the actual 7-day calendar and work week and the things that we do is based more around industrialization of economies rather than religiosity.
Yo, buddy, take a history class, because
I've taken lots of history. I can educate you a lot. I can educate you a
Doug,
lot.
I am asking Doug, shush. This is between these two boys. Please.
If you're gonna
suggest 42 months in Bronze Age.
Doug, I literally just asked you to shush.
So let's go to history. Let's go to history.
No, wait.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Yeah,
Who was the government that canonized the Bible?
What does canonizing the Bible have to do with a
Who was the government that canonized the Bible?
Asked you a direct question.
What are you talking about?
No, if I can.
Who was the government that canonized the Bible?
He's probably got a point. Answer the question. He's probably got a point.
Okay, I'm gonna answer the question. But I'm telling you, my head is about to explode.
Okay, who was the government that canonized the Bible?
I'll give you the answer. But just the fact that you said you're a reasonable person, you're all over the place.
I'm not all over the place. Who was the government that canonized the Bible?
Rome. So what's your point?
And was Rome not the most powerful nation in the world at that time?
Did Rome conquer the world?
Basically, at that time.
Wow.
Basically, at that time, the known world. China didn't practice the 7-day calendar at that time, did they?
Do you know the 7-day cycle was already instituted in Rome in conjunction with the 8-day cycle in the 1st century BC before it became so-called Christianity?
So Rome.
I'm giving you references. Like if you want to give,
you're giving me references, but 7-day and 8-day is different, right?
The Babylonians based
there
were 7.
Wait. Babylon is a whole different issue. We're going way back. I'm going to what he's trying to establish, trying to go with human agency, trying to claim it came from Rome. I'm telling you, Rome adopted the 7-day cycle with the 8-day cycle in the 1st century BC before
with the 8-day cycle.
So the 8-day cycle.
Wait. Number
with
one.
The 8-day cycle.
1 second. Can I finalize my point? Because I'm gonna just give you a history lesson right now.
Okay, thank you.
Go
ahead.
First century BC, they already had the 7-day cycle. They were already acquainted with the 7-day cycle. Number two, the Gregorian calendar is not universal, so it cannot account for why the 7-day cycle is universal. And number three, Japan in the 8th century and many other countries
but Japan specifically in the 8th century adopted the 7-day cycle before Western influence. So
and does Japan follow Christianity?
It's irrelevant.
No, it doesn't. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So Japan's 7-day cycle has nothing to do with Christianity. Thank you. Point proven. One, you're done.
My argument is not predicated. My argument is not predicated on nations being Christian. There's no Christian nation. What are you saying? You're all over the place.
It's predicated on God, right? It's predicated on God, which Japan obviously doesn't believe in.
No, but no, I think what he's saying
Buddy,
is
the
that
70 cycle.
we are on a 7-day cycle because
by-
God created us that way, and so
No,
by
no,
that
no, no.
argument,
I didn't
it
say
wouldn't matter. Oh,
no, no, no.
Hold
It
on,
has
hold
nothing
on.
to do
Let
with
Nick
biology.
finish. Let Nick finish. There's been craziness.
Well,
I think
I was
everybody had chat.
trying
Let
to
Nick
explain his argument as best I understand it, which is that because this was created by God, it doesn't matter whether you believe or not, but this 7-day cycle is an actual natural phenomenon. It is a part of God. Ergo,
No.
Okay, so
I misunderstood your
let me add this.
Hold
on.
Everybody interrupted.
Before
Nick,
you
were you
retort,
finished?
why is our current 7-day cycle? Why are all the words of every day of the week? Why are they all pagan?
They're not universal. The 70 cycle is. Thank you. Nicholas,
Why is it all pagan? Why is Monday Miraculous? Why Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? These aren't Christian names. These come from pagan names.
I'm going to repeat it again. Maybe you didn't hear me the first time. They're not universal, unlike the 70 cycle. So your point is moot. Your point is moot. Thank you. And Nicholas,
it's not.
Nicholas, it has nothing to do with nature. The whole point where you didn't see my friend SOS here respond to the predictive part, the fact that it's universal, unlike the naming, the pagan names of the weekdays, they're not universal. All the Arab countries don't adopt those. The Hebrew country, Israel, doesn't adopt it. So it's not universal. And we can account for that because there are different gods in this world, lower gods, fallen angels who have ascribed to themselves the title of God. So we can explain why there's pagan names to the names of the week. But as it relates to my argument, he didn't address the predictive part of it. He didn't address why it's universal, since it's arbitrary. And number 3, lastly, that Jesus said it would be the sign of his authority. All of that has been fulfilled.
That's
okay. Hold on. No. I'm gonna jump in. Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is, Soldier of Science, I'm gonna give you like a minute or so to finish up your point and retort.
Yeah.
To Big Tony. Big Tony, you stating what you opinionate that Soldier of Science didn't do makes you. It really doesn't help your argument, doesn't help your image. And when you say these things, I am better than this person, you can be under that conception of it, but that's what it comes across to everyone in the crowd. Make a statement. I asked this specific question in specific circumstances that technically, and Soldier of Science answered in genuine nature, and you say he's wrong. You come across as disingenuous. This is why. After Soldier of Science,
I don't mind.
I know you don't mind, but it's happening, right? After Soldier of Science is finished making their retort, I would like to ask Simos their opinion, because I believe that they are aware of your argument, and I would like to see theirs. And then Fabio. And depending on how long that goes, it is getting quite late tonight. And
What about me, Rob? I've got quite
So
good
you-
information on.
Okay,
so
Dog,
let me just retort.
I'll throw you a bone after then, Dog, and let you say your
Yeah.
bit. It's just you've been talking for a while, Dog.
Not a dog a bone.
So obviously, obviously the Torah came far after Sumerian gods and came far after other pagan gods and came far after other, let's get this right, sun gods. And sun gods gave the entire calendar. Why? Because the earth revolves around, wait for it, the sun. And so there's a predictability about seasons and about days that can be divided into how many days go into a week, how many days go into a month, how many days go into a season, because of paganism. Far before there was ever a Jesus who predicted what was already known by pagans. So you just saying, well, Japan adopted a 7-day, even though they don't believe in Jesus, is actually backing my Jesus predictability is no, none, not at all. They're just following what the earth does and what nature does, revolving around the sun, and what seasons do, and what made sense to humans and tribalism and Neanderthals that were growing up and realizing what seasons had to do. So our whole 7-day calendar comes from nature and comes from the obviousness of how the earth revolves around the sun. And that's my final statement. It has nothing to do with Jesus.
Can I tweak before I give it to Simon?
Thank you. Well, I mean, as always, Tyler has some interesting concepts and ideas about history. And, you know, some of it seems to be well-grounded, so I wouldn't dismiss it on the face of it. However, I would say that the year is 365 days, which doesn't divide by 7. So if God had planned a 7-day cycle, it doesn't make any sense why it would be 365 and something. That's just nonsense. So obviously, clearly, it's nonsense. Thank you.
That was
But
quite
welcome, Tyler.
irrelevant.
It's always nice to hear you. Yeah, I know you're irrelevant, but don't worry about it.
No, the 7-day cycle is not predicated on the yearly cycle. Thank you.
Okay, that you say irrelevant. There's nothing else you can really add to that except of an argument. Fabio.
I just argued it. I said it's not predicated.
He's not saying it is. He's saying that if it was created by a deity, that you would expect it to be predicated. And
No,
it's not.
why would God expect it if that was not his intention to begin with? That's the point. Why are you trying to make a link between?
How do you know what?
This is why I do layouts. This is
Are
why I
you
lay
God?
out. Can we
Are
let
you God?
Fabio say something and then we can go back to Nick?
Are you
I wanted
God?
to say Fabio
No,
first.
you're not God. So you can't say what God would or would not do.
It's stipulated in scripture. That's what my point.
It's not stipulated in scripture, no.
Never stipulated in scripture.
Okay, Fabio.
Length of the year.
Hold on.
Length of the
hold
year
on.
is not stipulated in scripture. Anyway, thank you. Anyway.
Scripture went under the Julian calendar.
Give up.
We're now under the Gregorian calendar.
I give up.
So I just want to know, is the ultimate proof the fact that we have 7 days a week? Really?
A question for me, because I
Yeah,
want to make.
it's a question for
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Quickly, all right. Maybe I'm not expressing myself the best, and maybe somebody else will be better at expressing it. I'm just laying the groundwork. He's the author of the 7-day cycle. What I mean by that is nobody else makes claims to a 7-day recurrent week in history. You will not find it. I will debate anybody. I've debated multiple people. I win all my debates. I never lost. Number two.
Doug.
Number two.
Hold on. Two things. All right, Doug. Let him finish his statement. And number two, anyone on a debate cannot say they won the debate. You can make statements and say, if you don't fucking fit this criteria, I'm going to scream something. Doesn't make it true, man. The debate is decided by the audience and nobody wins or loses. You were there to put your points across. So
No,
you can shake your finger all you want. I'm telling you how the audience take it.
I understand that. That's how you feel.
No. This is how the
only
people.
person who hasn't lost a debate is a person who's never been in an honest one.
Yeah, no problem.
That's right. You see, Nick just proved how everyone in the community sees you. So if you just stop saying
I
that,
understand.
So if you just stop saying that, you will come across as a more genuine person. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you.
I understand.
Now, retort to Fabio, and then that's all yours.
I will. I'm not trying to be liked. Number one, this is how I know I win a debate. I say, if you want to argue against my propositions, this is what you need to do. Number one, you have to go against authorship. Authorship, who is the author of the 7-day cycle? If I could show historically, there's only one group of people who makes claims to the 7-day cycle. I appeal to my primary source, the Hebrew scriptures. You give it whatever date you want. Nobody that precedes or came before the Hebrew scriptures makes a claim to a 7-day recurrent week. So if you're not able to produce your primary or secondary sources, I have established my first proposition. Second proposition is he predicted, I could go through his scripture to show that, the universal application of the 7-day cycle as a sign of his authority over all nations. If you cannot argue against that, I have demonstrated that he is Lord. There's nothing about going to the crowd.
This is just the weakest argument.
Wait, you can't argue against that.
Everybody talks. I am totally.
I'm just going to finalize. It's okay to say it's weak. That's what I mean. Going to the crowd, it's weak, but you haven't provided anything to substantiate your claim.
Hold on. If I can retort to that, all right, and then I'm gonna, no, appealing to the crowd in a debate is the entire point of a debate, the entire point of a discussion, because the other person that you come in to debate. The reason you debate them is because they have a directly opposite opinion and that they will prove they are trying to put their point across. So you have an opposite opinion versus an opposite opinion. So the point of a debate is to lead, in my opinion, yes, you can agree, it's my opinion, but the point of a debate is to let the audience who don't know, because that's why they're watching a debate, they are on the fence on this particular topic, or else they're coming to laugh at you and not genuine. But if you are looking for that one person in the debate, you are not trying to convince your opponent because your opponent is of an opposite opinion. The reason that I host discussions and the reason that I host debates and the reason I title them the way I do is so that the audience leaves asking questions going, was Teddy Terry's son 7-day-a-week guy correct? Or was Fabio correct? I'm unsure, so I'm now going to either look into this or blow it off. I do it for the audience, man. I'm not trying to boost your confidence. Not at the end of the day, I think your argument is just number one, I don't understand all of it. Number two, I think it's bullshit. But I'll defend your right. I'll defend your right to argue with anyone else for my audience's sake.
I understand, but here's my perfect example. Just finalize real quick. Here's my perfect example of how why we shouldn't appeal to the crowd. You don't understand my argument, but you feel it's shit. So it doesn't make sense. Like this is what I mean, not appealing to the crowd. And it's called the ad populum fallacy.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Can I just interject for a second? No, just for a second, because my understanding is that what he said. So the first part is basically a challenge. So he challenged anybody to find a population or whatever that used the 7-day cycle before the Hebrew done.
Exactly.
Okay?
Right.
Right. Okay. So okay. The second part is just a claim that you made, and I'm gonna dismiss it completely because it's just a claim. I don't care about.
That's what I'm pointing out. Yes, I'm being.
So the first part, as far as the challenge goes, and I mean, the only thing I know is that the reason why we have 7 days a week, it's very simple. Because it's a standard, it's an international standard, it's ISO 8601, so it's the same reason why we use 10 digits, the decimal system. But regardless, in Sumer, about 2100 BC, they used a 7-day cycle.
That's why I said Sumerians.
Yeah. So
no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was.
You know what recurrent? It means every week is 7 days. What's the source you're appealing to? Do you know the name of the document?
Can I just ask? Can I ask a defeating question?
Yes.
I want to ask.
Soldier. He asked Fabio a direct question. Fabio can either answer yes or no, and then you can have the floor.
Copeland.
Don't Google search.
Copeland, 1939.
Okay. Now it's Soldiers of Fortune's chance.
Okay, so let me ask Teddy. Teddy, if the entire world decided tomorrow that a 5-day system is better than a 7-day, and the entire world tomorrow decided to go on a 5-day system, would that mean that God doesn't exist in your mind?
Exactly, and I would jump out the tallest building. All right.
Oh my!
By the way, sorry.
There you go, folks. There you go, folks.
Guys, it's over.
I'm going to be real quick because I forgot to mention. In Burma, there are some sects of people, they follow 8 days a week, and Ethiopia is following a 13-month a year.
It's not the civic calendar. You're desperate, man. Civic calendar.
I'm not desperate.
That worked. Did I get to mute everybody? Did everybody mute except me? Did that work? Fuck yous all. Yous will all fucking take the stick. Alright? You see when it gets out of control? That's my new favorite button.
Irish prick.
Alright, everybody should be unmuted now.
Just quickly.
I love when I love when the reply is "you're desperate."
Yeah, we're going to do that again because 3 people tried to. People, we need to calm down. We're going to do. Officially, we're doing a 17-minute warning. Okay, 17-minute warning, and this time we're going to stick to it. So on that note, everybody's allowed to talk. We're going to move it to Fabio to retort to Earth and Sun, and then it's going to go fucking out of control for another 10 minutes.
No. I mean, I have nothing to retort. I mean, I just said that I love when the answer to a statement that I made is "you're desperate." That I mean, that feels me so much.
No, but can I explain why?
Uncanny. No, you can't. No, you can't. Please don't. Don't.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay.
So it's listen. The conversation is perfect. Because you asked me for reference, I gave you reference. You asked me for data.
Can I challenge your references?
No.
Okay, because your references are weak. That's why.
Sorry, is it me talking, bothering you, interrupting me? Because I can stop.
Okay, so make your point.
You asked for reference, I gave you reference. You asked for data, I gave you data, and the end of it was "you're desperate, man." That is.
I was about to explain to you why. So here's why you're desperate.
You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to.
You're interrupting me
okay.
now. No,
Yes.
I want to do it.
At least 3 more times, and then it'll be even.
We might not want you to, though.
This is why you're desperate. Is because my second proposition that is predicated on nations being subjugated to a 7-day week, which relates to a civic calendar. So the Burmese calendar, subjugated. Thank you. You understood.
What do you mean by subjugated?
Let him finish, and then you can answer that question.
Diversion. You're diverting.
No.
Let him finish. No. I'm gonna fucking slam in, so no diversion happens. You finish your point. Let him divert.
Diverting. You're begging the question.
Can I finish my original point where Fab tried to come with the Burmese calendar? That's what happens when you do Google search instead of actually reading your sources accurately, carefully. It says that's the religious calendar, not the civic calendar. Civic.
No.
I'm finalizing. If it's not the civic calendar, then your point is moot. It's not. It's irrelevant.
Right. Please. No, MathPig. Sorry.
Hey, everybody. Right. Remember, every time I have to raise my voice to the point where everyone hears, my daughter is sleeping in the other side of the room. So every time I do that, whoever calls me to do that is going to wake my daughter. Fabio, make your point.
Whenever you want, whenever you have time, you can rewind the hangout, whatever, and you can hear that I never said that there is a Burmese calendar of 8 days. I said there are some people in Burma that they follow an 8 days week. So before putting words in my mouth, you got to be super careful, man.
It's called the Burmese calendar, buddy. Okay, you said there's some. It's called the Burmese. It's called the Burmese calendar. I'm stipulating what it's called. You're interrupting me. It's called the Burmese calendar, and it's not the civic.
Oh no, Simos, please wait. Let him finish his fucking stupid point. Let him finish his stupid point. We're finishing soon anyway.
The fact, thank you. So this is what I mean about appealing to the crowd. It's they have a calendar that's religious, not civic. The civic calendar is 7. Since my argument is I'm not finished. Since my argument, because I want you to understand, because I don't understand why you would bring that point to me when it's irrelevant to my argument, because my argument is predicated on the fact that Jesus submitted all nations. So if you want to show me that there's a nation that doesn't keep a 7-day cycle, that is what you need to do in order to argue against his sovereignty. Arguing about some people in a corner doing something is irrelevant to my argument.
I mean, imagine this being your apologetic. Imagine this being your apologetic.
You're under the jurisdiction of your nation. That's why. Thank you.
I mean, imagine
being a while, but I do feel the need to point out that what Jesus was referring to as nations, like the Burmese culture would definitely qualify. That's not there
is
civic calendar.
Sorry. I never said civic calendar. I will send you 1,000 euros if you can find me saying that it was a civic calendar.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Imagine all the civilizations that existed before Jesus that did not rely on a 7-day calendar. Imagine the Neanderthals or Denisovans, or even right now in the Amazon forest, or imagine all these civilizations who don't give a shit about a 7-day cycle, that don't follow what Jesus predicted. And in your hindsight 2020, if all nations were operating on a 5-day, you would just say that. You would just say, like, well, Jesus predicted the 5-day cycle, you know?
I said will
subjugate, will, that's future tense.
Anything.
You know what future tense is?
Cycle.
Why are you going to the Neanderthals
ISO.
when I said future tense? He will subjugate. Why did
Yeah,
you go
it's the most ridiculous apologetic I've ever heard in my life.
What part?
Yeah,
like,
that's
what
a
was the
claim.
original language?
Wait. Before I just want to show that the logic of Mr. SOS. The Neanderthals were not keeping this up.
The logic of arguing about a day cycle to prove a god is ridiculous.
Try to bury the nonsense of what you were saying. Try to bury it. And people heard you. People heard you. I said my second proposition is that he will subjugate. That's future tense. Why in the world did you go before 2,000 years?
So 6 billion people don't believe in Jesus on the earth right now. How is 6 billion people who don't believe in Jesus right now subjugated by Jesus?
Because wait. The question for me, again, showing the logic. Do you need to believe in him for you to be subjugated to him?
Is it circumcision?
Well, yeah, right.
What
yeah, right.
Do you believe in your government? Do you believe in your government that have power?
Do you know what subjugation means?
Hey, buddy, a person could be Lord without your
why
worship.
won't you answer the question? What?
I'm answering SOS first.
How are a billion Muslims subjugated by Jesus?
Hey,
Go
buddy,
ahead.
He can
Answer
be
me.
If you need
I
to.
love that you answer every other question. What language?
I'm gonna answer you first.
How are a billion Hindus subjugated by Jesus? Go ahead.
You already said it, buddy.
6 billion people.
Yeah, keep saying it because everything you're saying is ridiculous. He could be Lord without your worship. You friggin'. What are you talking about?
Sure. So could Shiva, right? So could Shiva, right? Is Shiva not Lord without you worshiping? Why don't you believe in Shiva?
Does she submit me to anything she predicted?
Maybe
Yeah.
right. Maybe you're right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, she does. Here's how. Hang on, Tyler. Hang on. Here's how ridiculous it is, right? Because using your logic, anything that was predicted or is used in the modern day culture that came before the Hebrews, right? The modern day cultures must be submitted to them. So such things as mathematics, astrology. What else have we got here? Resurrections. Right? They were predicted. Oh yeah, they were. Yeah. They were all used.
Math was predicted.
They were all used. Yeah, absolutely.
By who?
Egyptians used mathematics.
They predicted it. Send me that prophecy, please. Send it to me. Because I think there was math before the Egyptians.
Do you know how they built the pyramids?
Hey, buddy, there was math before the Egyptians. Buddy.
Right. Send me your sources. What are you talking about?
And there was cycle days before Jesus too. And there was people practicing 7-day cycles before Jesus too.
Place on the moon.
Hey guys,
and even if all of that is true, even if all of that is true, which I mean, astrology, the heavens were first predicted, right? The cycle of the heavens was first predicted by cultures that predate the Hebrews.
The cycle of the heavens? What are you talking about, buddy? What are you saying?
The sky?
I don't know. You obviously don't know
the
much
Earth
about
and the sun.
You don't know much about cosmology, obviously. But if you were to do some educating,
that's what he's
and
talking
educate yourself about these subjects, then you'd understand. But even if all that were true, it still wouldn't prove the supremacy of any idea, and it certainly wouldn't prove that a god exists based upon having those ideas.
I mean, wasn't the first emperor that was writing his name was in China, and he talked about how him writing his name made him immortal, and therefore he was God. So isn't that guy God?
I mean,
no, but born
earliest predictions and shit.
It's literally the equivalent of saying Nostradamus must be God.
Yeah,
Nostradamus
exactly.
Has,
So again,
Nostradamus has no prophecy that's universal. Born on
The
Tuesday.
logic is
Born on
woeful.
Tuesday.
That's all I'm saying.
The guy in China has nothing he stipulated that I'm subjugated to. So
Okay.
you're subjugated to a 7-day week.
I mean, you
as
use
predicted.
language,
Gunpowder.
right? Like the way that
Gunpowder.
you communicated Earth/Sun equals 7. Like you use written language.
No, I'm making fun.
You know what? You know what? Here's where your argument fails. You are not subjugated. You are not subjugated to any 7-day cycle. You can follow any day cycle you want. Why do you have to follow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? You're not subjugated to any cycle.
You don't need to be for his argument. His argument is nations.
I thought I said nations. Okay, somebody's paying attention because SOS, you made a lot of dumb remarks, and I'm telling you, I'm crying for you. I'm really look at my face. Look at my face.
You can cry all you want. This is the most.
I would
this
much
is the
hold on. If
stupidest
I can just say,
apologetic I've ever heard.
Okay, I know
It's
that.
the
No,
dumbest.
hold on. Shush.
Like you're making yourself look really fucking.
There we go. I would much prefer, just to keep things fair, and I told Terry, Teddy, Big Tony I was going to look for an excuse. Don't say dumb. Don't say dumb, say you disagree. I don't appreciate that, alright? Dumb is a statement that the person, the fact that he disagrees, is pointing at the argument, alright? I'm jumping in also to go 10-minute warning, people. This is getting out of control. I said I'd let you go fucking ape shit for 10 minutes. Yes, I've had your 10 minutes. You've got another 10 minutes to the stream ends, so you can continue talking over each other, or you can take turns. I also want to give Doug a few minutes because the man's probably having a heart attack. Doesn't get to talk. Have to breathe. And then we will work around the room and end up. So, Doug, couple of minutes. We'll give it Terry, Teddy, Big Tony a statement if you can make while everyone retorts. And all going well, Teddy, Terry, Big Tony. Jason will get back to me and we can host that debate. If anyone else wants to chat with Terry, Tony, Big Tony, we can sort that as well. But Doug, you got a minute. Go.
Yeah.
And we lost Doug. Simos, you've been flickering your mute on and off. Go.
See
Can
me.
you guys hear?
See me.
How's that now?
You're. That's better. That's better. Dog, can you speak? Okay. Anyway, yeah. As I say, clearly, Terry, Tyler, Tony, and Jeff are all subjugated to the constellations. Therefore, he actually worships a Babylonian sun god, Marduk. Okay, thank you.
I still just want a one-word answer. What language?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, I've asked it about 14 times now.
I'm sorry, because there was so much noise. What language for what exactly? What are you talking about? Language of what? Please help me. Please.
You keep saying that he made this future prediction in future tense. What language?
Oh, you could find it. You can
language.
You could find it in the Greek, the Hebrew, the Aramaic.
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you what language was he speaking when he made this future prediction?
Oh, it would have to be in Hebrew. He's a Hebrew, right?
Interesting that Hebrew doesn't actually.
They actually spoke Aramaic. They actually spoke Aramaic.
Yeah.
Between the present and the future.
No. There's in Hebrew there's perfect tense and imperfect tense. So the perfect tense is the future. And So this
doesn't matter.
There's perfect and imperfect.
Buddy, I just gave you the grammar in Hebrew. Imperfect tense.
He didn't speak Hebrew, so it doesn't matter. He spoke
Perfect
Aramaic.
tense doesn't commit it.
Born.
Moses.
You see what I mean? It's like I addressed the point, and then you have somebody coming out the woodworks out of nowhere making a statement that's irrelevant. I never said I spoke Hebrew. What I said was I understand the grammar.
Doesn't make sense to people who have an understanding of Hebrew.
Huh?
What you're saying doesn't make sense to people who have an understanding.
Are you saying there's not a distinction between the perfect form and the imperfect form, which distinguishes
I'm saying that
between the
there's
past?
not a distinction between the present and future tense.
I'm sorry. Are you telling me that the
perfect form, imperfect form, and the perfect form in the
Okay,
Hebrew.
for instance,
I'm just about to
I'm gonna give you an example.
finalize my statement.
I'm going to give you an example, okay?
Okay, go
so
ahead.
in English, I would say, yesterday I ate, today I eat, tomorrow I will eat. So in English, the verb to eat doesn't have a difference in the present and future tense, right? I eat could mean like I eat now, or I could say tomorrow I eat. We have to add another verb to say
tomorrow
right?
I eat. You could say tomorrow I eat.
We have to add another word.
Tomorrow I will eat. I will eat. I will eat.
Exactly. You're getting it. You're getting it. 1, 2, 3.
So how does that
So-
is that contradicting the fact that in the Hebrew there's
Okay,
the
so what
perfect
I'm
tense
saying
and the imperfect
is-
tense?
Perfect
Right,
tense and
what I'm
imperfect tense
saying
has nothing
is-
to do with
A
time.
form.
Perfect tense doesn't have anything to do with time, right? So
is that a fact? Is that a fact? Oh my! Can we put a Hebrew interlinear
I
right
mean,
now?
I shouldn't say anything to do with. If you're
Oh,
saying,
okay.
but you're saying present perfect tense, it doesn't mean future. Present perfect tense doesn't mean future. Okay, but in the verb form in Hebrew, you have to like either add words or subtract words or like change the verb.
Okay, do you have a problem with the
So what
scholars?
might go, Robbie?
Do you have the problem with the scholars that interpreted Isaiah 66:23 that it says, I will, from Sabbath to Sabbath, and it will come to...
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay, so every scholar... Wait, one second.
No, what
Can
I'm
I
saying is when
finalize my
you
statement?
follow
Every
scholars
scholar...
that actually directly translate it from the Aramaic, which is the original, from the Aramaic.
It was the
into
Isaiah 66
English?
is not an Aramaic. But can I make my statement? Every Hebrew interlinear translate Isaiah 66:23 as a future tense. Do you have a problem with that? Because now your problem is not with me, because I'm not gonna go through a Hebrew lesson with you. Do you have a problem with the scholars? Yes or no?
I have a problem with you saying every scholar, because that's not true.
I don't know of any translate. Show me one translation of Isaiah 66:23 that's not future tense.
Okay,
Refer me to one of them.
I'd have to like go back and find
The
it.
day you do that, I'll jump out the window. You see this window right here? Look. You see this window right here? If you could show me one that's doesn't
Oh,
say
you're
future
being a
tense,
dick
I'm
now.
stopping
You're
right
being
now.
a dick. You're being a dick. You're being a
Stop with like the whole like
It's now round 5 minutes over. It's now no. I'm jumping.
Please don't jump.
No, it's not.
Now ran 5 minutes longer than I said. I just let it run a wee bit longer, so I'd have one more than. Love your age, but you've 21, I've 22. All right, so just one more, just so I can. No, you can't talk. No, I have a special button, man. You can try all you want. Simo's proved it. It doesn't work. You can that's all you get. All right, I'm in charge. See, don't work. It automatically mutes you. I'm the boss here. I created this place. It's mine. So I appreciate everybody coming in. I really do. I'm gonna work around the room. I'm going to be stupid and give Terry 1 minute to make a statement and round up. And then I'm going to work around the room. You can make a choice of disagreeing with him, or make a choice of shilling yourself, or make a choice of whatever the fuck you want. But sorry, Terry, you get 1 minute. Everybody else gets a few, because, we've all heard your argument. All right? You're going to say what you're going to say. And after that, we're going to fucking end, because it's getting late. And I have to go to Oxford Island tomorrow, all going well, and play with my daughter and jump. So, we're going to do that. With that, I'm going to hit the unmute button this time. And remember, Terry, Teddy, Big Tony, as you will be forever known on this channel. Floor is yours for a minute. Don't rant.
Thank you. No, I won't. Thank you guys very much for the hospitality. When I said I was going to jump out the window, it's really tongue in cheek. It's never going to happen, because there's no translation that would ever say it's not a future tense. So thank you very much. I've heard a lot of objections. None of them are really, like, usually there's better arguments. And I have to say, I didn't hear anything relevant or anything concise or that's addressing the point I've established. They have not addressed the fact that the 70 cycle is exclusively claimed by the God of the Hebrews. I heard Samaria, no citation from the source. I know the source says 7 days for the first 3 weeks, and the last week is 8 or 9 days. That's not a recurrent 7 day cycle.
And your minute is up.
My minute's up. I said 30 seconds. And second proposition was not addressed. Predictive part. I heard something about the prediction. It's something in the past. How come the Neanderthals didn't keep it? Because it's a future prediction. I'm telling you, so weird. So predictive part, universal, and finally the fact that he said, "This is the sign of my authority over all nations." Beautiful.
There you go. That's it. No, literally, I give you like fucking 2. All right, I'm trying to be fair.
Can I?
With that, I think Soldier of Science had their hand up. So what they're going to get first dibs, and I'm going to work around my circle. All right, not the stream, my circle. So Soldier of Science, you're first.
Okay, so can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so according to the origins of the 7-day cycle, Romans practiced an 8-day cycle until 321. And then guess who? Guess who put the just like I said before, guess who established the 7-day cycle? The Roman Emperor Constantine, who was the same guy who canonized the freaking Bible, which tells you that Jesus is the one who predicted this 7-day cycle. So you're telling me that let me ask Terry or Teddy or whatever.
No questions. No questions.
Okay, no questions. I'm going to assume you don't trust modern day science. You probably don't trust modern day vaccines, right? You probably don't trust.
Right. Okay, I'm going to mute everyone. We're going to move on. You've had your minute. Now you're making digs, and I don't like digs. So, Fabio, you're next in mine. Lick that paper and give us a statement.
That has to be one of the most amazing non-argument that I've ever heard. So. Sources: Copeland 1939 and ISO 8601. That's it.
Thank you very much, Fabio. Next after that, we've got the $400 suit, man. By the way, Nicholas, I got a fucking second-hand suit off Facebook Marketplace that may be fucking like Louis Vuitton. I got for like fucking £10. So all up to $400.
I'm coming over to your. I'm coming over. We'll make an exchange. I need to up my suit anyway. So
I have a few. I'm aiming for a suit a week. I'm aiming for a suit a day. Sorry, I want a suit for every day of the week. I've got a blue one, 2 brown ones, a black one, and a grey one, and I want either a bright red one or a bright white one. But anyway, go on ahead, Nick. The floor is yours.
All right, 2 quick comments. First of all, I think a decent argument could be made for, okay, yes, we are all underneath that calendar, and so you could say that he accurately made that prediction. A lot of things make a single accurate prediction, one accurate prediction, even if he says this is where, it's the ones that we remember are the ones that were accurate. It doesn't necessarily mean I would want more accurate predictions, and I would want no failures, of which there have absolutely been some. I will say this also, in an argument or a debate, just because somebody doesn't prove you wrong doesn't mean you won the argument or debate. You'd win by some sort of deductive argument and not relying on any kind of gaps argument. So I could imagine, for example, that maybe for a biological reason we don't know, we do in fact have a 7-day cycle built in, and this was recognized by the Romans. They put it into the Bible because it already existed. And you don't know that that's not true. It doesn't mean you're wrong, but it's one example of how you may not, in fact, be correct. So this is not a proof. It's still very much an opinion. And lastly, F. Lee Bailey was one of the best attorneys ever in the United States. He lost 45% of his cases, lost 45% of them. But the ones he took, nobody could win. They were the cases where it was a death penalty. Everybody thought the guy was guilty, and he won. Anyone who says they've never lost a debate has never been in a real debate. The ones who are good have done good arguments, and they've lost before. That's how you learn. Learning this, you must have lost. Thank you.
Next after my night, you love it. You're all being quiet and muted and still getting away with it, you wee cunt. Right, Simos, you're next in my square.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. I just would say, look, even if the Bible was an original document, which I don't think, even if Moses existed, which I don't think he did, even if he said 7 days, right, because of creation, I think that's still a stretch to say that therefore God exists. Culture, that's how culture works. So obviously, if you want to deny that, then I think you're denying the very humanity by which we all live under. And then secondly, I'd also say, again, it doesn't make any sense, this argument, because we know from history that the Hebrew culture is not the earliest culture. It didn't make civilization. And if your argument is that because the Hebrew culture had this particular cycle which it predicted, it clearly other cultures also had the same, had at least some weeks which were 7 days. And so therefore we can see that they stole the 7 days in the first place for their culture. I mean, that's just common sense. And then even if they had originally come up with 7 days, that still doesn't mean that that is proof of any such thing as a divine God, because as we know, the Torah was written by human beings. So therefore you still have yet to show a connection to divinity, which obviously you've never done. But there we are. Thank you.
Please.
Next to Savage.
I'll just start out by saying that when I was taught the Divine Comedy, I was taught it from a direct Italian translation by my Italian tutor, because even when something isn't the most important text in your life, if you actually want to understand it, it's a pretty good idea to understand the basic language that it was written in, or at least understand what language that was. For instance, most Jews have a pretty good understanding of Hebrew. That's why. Again, the New Testament was not written in Hebrew. But anyway, last thing that I just want to say before moving on is that if you are a pregnant person who is living in Missouri and you need to not be pregnant, if you hit me up on Discord, that can't be tracked, and we'll figure something out.
Next to my list is Jamie.
I love your name, by the way. Born on a Tuesday, not last Tuesday. Very nice.
So God to not God. Nobody listened to his argument. Nobody understood his argument. You ought to just listen to it and accept and just say there's another explanation for it, because it is true that a 7-day week is universal, and that in more than one way you can show that from the Bible. Now, you can hem and haw about why that doesn't matter, and then you might have a case. Paul Kamish made an argument that may have been worthy of a conversation about naming the 7-day cycle after the planets, or perhaps the wandering stars and the sun and the moon, or something like that.
Or the moon.
But as far as the 7-day week, it just happens to be the case that all those premises are true. Now, if you want to, what doesn't matter at all is how through history that maintained to be the case. Still, that wouldn't matter. The argument remains. And it just looks really bad for the not God crowd to just like, mommy, stop him, he's proving God, somebody interrupt him. Sorry, I just thought that I'm being honest about just what that
we tried to hear him out, but okay.
No, I appreciate Jamie. I always did. Over the interactions over this last
I like
month.
Jamie.
Over the interactions over the last month, the fact that Terry endorses
I'm
it, please
shocked.
don't take that the wrong fucking way, alright? Jamie's been genuinely honest. The fact that Terry endorses him has nothing to do with it. Alright. So
And Jamie,
we got disagreements.
You clearly
We got
didn't listen to
disagreements.
what I was saying about culture. Clearly, Jamie.
on that note, we're gonna fucking end. I've put the link to Rage's open panel if anyone wants to go over here.
Dog.
Oh, and Dog. Sorry, Dog's been quiet. He usually shouts up when he doesn't get his go. Dog, you still there? I didn't give him a go at the start and they were quiet. Woof.
Give him a minute. Sometimes it takes a minute.
It's muted.
Well, hey.
There he is.
Dog.
Basically, everyone said what I wanted to say about the calendars. I have to admit, with Savage's theory on, thoughts on Dante and his ironic poetry, Latin is an awesome language, and it really is fun. His insane take on the afterlife is just mental. But the 7-day week wasn't invented until the 4th century anyway. So you can't say that. And the 7 days were thousands of years before Christianity. You know, you got to go back into it sort of thing. It was in the Bronze Age. It was 42 months a year, and 360 days.
Oh, that's Dog's
And then the
bed. No,
Romans-
Dog. Everybody, I said to get a wee bit more. I'm not going to let rants go. We're going to end this shit. Half is what I mean, unfortunately.
The Romans put in the Julius, July, the Augustus. They put in August and whatnot. They made it what it is. But mathematically, it makes sense almost. But because the way the Earth spins, it doesn't to flat Earthers, obviously.
Oh no, we're
they
not. I'm
don't
not. No, I'm
understand it.
jumping in. You said flat Earth. I'm deliberately jumping in and going for an ending.
Yeah,
Please
but they
do.
don't understand that.
Yeah, we're gonna
you
end
know.
it in that. Thank you everybody for who jumped over. Thank you
Mathematically,
everybody.
it makes
John
sense.
4, John 4, track 5.
John 4, track
We
5.
change Greenwich Mean Time.
You just keep going, Dog.
few
I don't know. Are
seconds
you
every-
deaf or
every
is there
year.
a delay? I'm just being funny. Right.
Yeah, we can talk off air. We can talk off air.
Science has got the calendar quite right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we can talk off air.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
I love
Very much.
everybody.
Thank
I love everybody.
Thank you, MathPig.
Thank
We
you
love
all.
you.
Thank you all for
We love
coming.
you, MathPig.
Guy, although you're ginger slap.